gentlemen, and everyone in between. How the heck are ya? I am Diana Clary and the Lavender Lady, and that back there saying, "Meow," was Sylvia. And this is indeed the Open Chat, the Tuesday show at 7 p.m. Eastern, where we talk about this, that, the other thing, like a bunch of cackling hens. And today we have with us, as usual, thank you for doing that, because I don't know if I'd know how to fly this contraption without you, is my co-pilot, my co-host, my dear friend and compadre, and everything else that you want to talk about. The one, the only, the brilliant, the beautiful Kate Farr, Bionic Dance. Hello, dear.
Hi, everybody. How you doing? What's up? What's new? What's happening? Be interesting. Now.
Oh, look! Oh, look! We just got our navigator.
It's the Monado, it is.
Hello!
I don't know why I did that with an accent, and I'm sure there's someone out there who's deeply offended by it, but I don't care.
And the Bombardier is going to be showing up here shortly.
Oh, God, we're all in trouble.
Yeah.
He just has to finish up with that Cobra of his, eh?
No, actually, I was in the middle of making dinner when he's like, "Mom, Lavender's live."
Oh my! So now you're gonna have
I
to
like
make
my hypothesis better.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Oh my word! And then Amiga. Well, wait, what's going on here? We've got Amiga Nuts and we've got Amiga Nuts 2. Do you have multi-personality disorder, or what the hell's going on here, honey? Oh, and look, it's Stool! Yay! Yay!
Hey, Sample, how you doing?
All the regulars.
Actually, there was like, I don't know why he posted this link, but on Twitter he posted a link to a live stream, and it was like just me and him for ages, except it wasn't streaming. It was like not broadcasting in any way, and we just chatted for a while, and it was strangely civil. And nice, actually. He's not a bad guy when he's not ripping on you.
He's a big sweetie. I love him dearly. Okay, so you're the real Amiga Nuts. I got you now. God, this sounds like, what is it? Was it To Tell the Truth? Will the real Amiga Nuts please stand up? You know, one of those deals.
Yeah. I remember that show.
I never watched it. I only heard about it.
Oh my!
And also, if someone says, "Will you please stand up?" my first thought is, "Mrs. Smegma, will you please stand up?" Yes. Monty Python.
That is absolutely beautiful. That's one of my favorite Monty Python skits right there. Yeah, how not to be seen.
Although I have to say, like, even though it's shorter humor, I like number one, the Larch, way better.
That comes along with the Spanish Inquisition, doesn't it?
I don't know if it's the same episode. I'd have to rewatch.
I haven't watched that crap in a long time. I've been watching a lot of old crap lately.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the Spanish Inquisition, because I included that sort of in the title or in the thumbnail of my new video.
Okay. And look, Amiga Nuts 2 is totally not Math Pig. So don't even get that in your little heads, kids. That's not Math Pig.
Definitely not.
He was such a sweetie. I've been digging around for old television shows. I actually found, do either of you know about the Alvin Show? 1961.
Is that anything to do with chipmunks?
Yes.
I know the chipmunks I know from the 80s. I don't know your chipmunks.
Okay, these are the grandparents, if you will, of the 80s chipmunks. Very simple line drawing animations. But I'll tell you, the audio, the soundtrack was absolutely great, because that's one guy doing all of the voices of the three chipmunks and David Seville. Ross Bagadassian, I think his name was.
I've heard like recordings of the Chipmunks slowed down so you can hear the original voice. Because as I understand it, he just did the Chipmunks normally and then they sped it up.
Yes.
And listening to him do the songs and the voices at like normal human speed, except it wasn't normal human speed, it was normal human tone, but he would say them so slowly so that they would be like the right pace when they were sped up to be the Chipmunks. It just sounded so odd.
Yeah, and gods, that took some amazing skill. I mean, really it did, to be able to talk that slowly and get the pacing right. Oh God, we're all in trouble now.
Well, there was this guy that was on like America's Funniest People or something for a while, where he had taught himself to speak backward, like literally backward, not just the letters, but the actual sounds backward. And like he sent in a video cassette and they watched it and went, what the hell is this crap? And then they played it backward and they were like, oh, wild. And so then what they did was they made a music video specifically for him, where he's like singing this song. I think it was like, It's a Most Unusual Day or something.
Okay.
And yeah, so they did that, and that had to take a lot of skill too.
Absolutely. I've heard a couple people who were claiming to talk backwards. Now, I cannot remember offhand if they were just reciting the letters backwards or if they were doing the phonemes backward, as the distinction that you made. I mean, it's long enough ago that I simply cannot remember. There was a guy who used to show up on Carson every now and then who would do sort of, and a couple of the jokes he put in there were kind of funny. You know, this is this backward, and then you know, then you have this and this string of syllables, and that is backward. And then saying alcoholic backward comes out Ed McMahon. Because that's when McMahon and Carson were still having their drinking problems, but that's another story entirely.
Well, you know, if you say gullible backward, it sounds like oranges.
Oh, well, gullible oranges, I like it. So is that sort of a gullible orange? Would that be an audio?
No, it's not. It's not gullible oranges. Say the word gullible backward, and it will sound like oranges. Try it.
Yeah. Well, what I'm thinking is if you said the word gullible and then you said the word gullible backward, and if it would sound like gullible oranges, would that be a sort of audio?
It doesn't sound like gullible oranges. It sounds like oranges.
I don't buy it.
Okay.
Well, try it.
Well, oranges.
I'm not that gullible.
Well, see, that's the point, is if someone tries to say gullible backwards, it's not going to sound a damn thing like oranges, but you try to get them to say it, and they prove that they're gullible. That's the whole point. That's the joke.
Oh, okay. So that's kind of like the old joke that was running around when I was very young of the first symptom of dementia is hair on the knuckles, and then, you know, when the person lifts their hand to take a peep, and the second is looking.
Oh, well, I remember one, this was particularly cruel, where you'd say like, okay, if I do this pattern on your hand, now it'll smell like something, and people go, and you go thwack.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, okay. Oh, God,
Well, the way I'd love to do it is, if I draw this pattern on your hand, you can try and remember it for lucid dreaming. It's an A. Okay, remember that, and it'll help you lucid dream. It means awake. Whenever you see it, do a reality check. I wouldn't be that cruel.
Okay, then.
Totally missed the joke.
Yeah, I don't.
Lucid
That
dreaming?
didn't make any sense.
No, Tornado, you missed her joke.
No, I know exactly what her joke was.
Well, then let it go.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Let's not dig ourselves into the usual joke hole.
Yeah, but in any event, that's what I was reminded of was the yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but while we're at it, I mean, I'm not referring to the words backwards or anything. What is where you have a word that is the same when read forward or backward? Is that a palindrome?
Palindrome.
That's
Palindrome.
right. Yeah. I'm getting demented here, and the memory is going, and that's the whole thing. I mean, when you're getting old, the first symptom, the second symptom is, losing your memory, and I forget what the first symptom is. Hi, Jackson. Hi, honey.
The first symptom is you start to lose your looks.
That happened a long time ago, sweetie.
And that assumes that you have them in the first place.
Yeah, there you go. Let's
But
So is
let's
the word
remember
pop a
that.
palindrome?
Say again, honey.
what?
Is the word pop a palindrome?
Yes.
Yes.
And Bob?
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, there is a Weird Al song called Bob that is nothing but palindromes in the style of Bob Dylan.
Oh my.
Well, how do you
Like,
know then? Because when I'm listening to Bob Dylan, I can't make out a word he's singing.
Well, the way he sings it, though, it sounds no joke like Bob
I'm
Dylan
just
singing.
being a pain in the arse. That's, the way
Let's
I
see, here
am.
we go. It's like, I'm an Enrico, a German am I, never odd or even if I had a high five. Adam, I'm Adam, too hot to hoot, like that. The whole song is just palindrome after palindrome.
Oh,
Lisa
my word.
ate no pizza. Warsaw was raw. Was it a car or a cat I saw? Like the whole song is just that.
Jeez, man. He's still around, right?
What, Weird Al? Oh, hell yeah.
Dylan.
Oh, I don't know about that part. But I mean, Weird Al was the important part
yeah,
anyway.
Weird Al,
so-
he's got a definite knack
No,
for pulling shit like that.
I'm pretty sure Bob Dylan is dead, but I could be wrong.
Well, I've been surprised a bunch of times.
We're gonna find out.
Anyway, recently I actually came across some stupid.
No, he's still around.
According to
Bob
this, he's
Dylan's
still around.
alive.
Race car. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's like they would have mentioned if he was dead on the side I'm looking at. Nope, he is on the alive side.
Yeah,
Wow.
79 years
How
old.
old?
He's really old.
Yeah.
He's actually a little bit younger than I thought he was. I thought he was into the 80s by now, say 82, 83, something like that.
He's how old?
This
79?
says he's 79.
Well, I mean, there are a bunch of people who were alive. Like, I only found out they were still alive after they died. Like, I thought they had died yonks ago. For example, Hunter S. Thompson. No part of me would have thought that he'd survive into the 2000s. Quite frankly, I thought he was one of those ones who died before I was born. But
Okay,
apparently he
yeah.
died in 2005.
Who
I
is
was
he?
very surprised when I saw that. Yes.
Don't know even know who that is.
That's say again, hon.
I just said, okay.
Yeah, that's Naked Lunch, if I remember correctly.
No. That's Lynch.
Oh, okay.
Naked Lunch was David Lynch. No. Hunter S. Thompson. He's the guy that Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas was about.
Oh, that's a different podcast. I have no idea what I just said.
I mean, I suppose it's possible that Hunter S. Thompson had something to do with Naked Lunch. But the author of that was William S. Burroughs. The movie, on the other hand.
There we go.
No,
Yeah.
it's not Lynch. It's David Cronenberg.
Moof
But it's
beef.
based on Burroughs. So no, Hunter S. Thompson, no.
Okay,
My
I'm
word,
just gonna
Rick
look.
Scheider was in that. And Peter Weller? Wow. Ian Holm, my gosh. Julian Sands, and is that the Judy Davis I think it is? Yeah, looks like it.
All
Anyway,
right, so let me.
That's a hell of a cast.
wow.
Okay, we've got Hell's Angels: The Strange and Terrible Saga of the Outlaw Motorcycle Gangs. That's Random House 67. You've mentioned Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Fear and Loathing of the Campaign Trail 72. Gonzo Papers, Gonzo Papers Volume 2, Curse of Lono. Um, really, none of these that I've read.
And I'm not entirely certain, but I think that one character in that graphic novel series, and I wish I could, Transmetropolitan, that's what it's called. I'm pretty sure he was based on Dylan, but I'm not 100% on that.
Moo. Okay. Now this is interesting. A Hunter S. Thompson book. Happy birthday,
Sorry,
Jack
not
Nicholson.
Dylan Thompson, Hunter S. Thompson. What am I saying here? Dylan.
But happy birthday, Jack Nicholson. Penguin Books, 2005.
Here's Johnny.
A little
Okay,
something.
I'm
a little
going to say
different.
something that I think most people would object to, but I think The Shining is really boring.
I haven't seen it. All I've seen is a couple
All
of
I
the
ever
clips out
saw
of
was
it.
the movie. I never read the book.
I am not the movie person that you are, and I think that's become painfully obvious over the months. Someday I'll do something about that. I mean, I've got a lot of time to spare and nowhere to go about it. Not in this this whole cerveza virus thing here. So while I'm waiting for my plantlets to arrive, yeah, I suppose I could try to find some movies somewhere.
In the meantime,
My plantlets had better
what's been
get
going
here.
on my end? What's been going on my end is that I encountered some serious stupid.
Oh,
Then you put the mirror down.
Actually-
No.
Well, one of them, it was more of a picture of some stupid I saw, not actually interacting with some stupid. Was the first one I encountered recently. But it said that vaccines could be encrypted.
Huh?
Okay. What?
Not
with a
only that,
password?
but they could be encrypted with symbology.
Wait a minute.
Okay,
The
I can almost
misuse-
imagine a vaccine being encrypted, meaning that it would need some sort of extra, like injection or something to chemically react to, and like so it needs a key to be activated. But other than that,
oh, God.
Oh, for the love of Saint Gulag, I don't know here, kids.
Oh, it gets
just-
even worse because they said they were encrypted with symbology to allow people to be tracked and targeted.
Well, okay, by the misuse of that word, I've only heard one person misuse the word that way. This wouldn't be something from Jordan now, would it?
I don't know.
And for those who
Oh.
don't know,
I'm not sure if that sounds Jordan Peterson-y enough for me.
Okay, this is Jordan Pierce, also known as Spirit Science. If you
Oh, so
ever,
a different Jordan. Okay.
yeah, if you ever want your brain fried to a crisp, just
Oh,
go
yeah, just-
looking through the Spirit Science site on YouTube. The guy is just.
Nuts.
That's what he is.
Okay. Diana.
Oh.
Some of his ideas are, well, that Atlantis was real, Lemuria was real, that Martians lived on Earth in the city of Atlantis, and that Jews are from space.
Okay, fine. Yay.
All right. I
Remember
think I'm confirming my earlier speculation that Spider Jerusalem, the main character of Transmetropolitan, is indeed based on Hunter S. Thompson.
Okay.
Diana, you remember how I told you on Sunday we had 372 new cases in Citrus County?
Oh no, what is it now? Over 1,000?
419 in less than 3 days.
Yeah, this is.
No, I think you mean total cases.
See, now that
Confirmed.
right there on screen is Spider Jerusalem, that character that I think is based on Hunter S. Thompson.
Okay.
What do you think?
Don't know.
Yeah, might not be all that bad a match.
I mean, I mean, not just physically though. The guy is supposed to be like a writer, I think, as well as whatever the hell else he is. I've never read the comic, but I always got the impression.
Yeah,
I don't know.
the whole vibe you
Trying to
get from
find
this guy.
one, like it might be, I don't think it's too racy for YouTube, but there's this one where you see him from the side, you don't see anything, but he's completely butt-ass naked typing on a laptop. Like you see him from the side, so it's definitely PG, but still.
Oh, nothing like what a YouTube personality did sitting down in front of the camera at one point, right?
Yeah, nothing like that even slightly in any way.
Right.
What happened?
Let's see.
I don't know what happened. What did you check?
Well, there is a video that I did a bunch of years ago where I am on camera completely butt-ass naked.
Okay.
Well, it was a challenge. I don't know if you guys know Got That Funk, but he issued a challenge to other YouTubers to do a video that incorporates this, that, and the other thing. I think it was like, do the video naked, like describe something that people probably don't know about yourself, and this, that, and the other thing. And so what I did, rather than just sitting down and you see me from here up, to let people know that I was actually naked, I started by being sideways and covering myself and sitting down. So that people knew without a doubt that, yeah, I'm not wearing a scrap on this video.
Okay.
Just to think, should you want to run for office, dig that baby up, dig the rollerblading up in, where the heck was that in the Seattle area?
Oh, the Fremont Solstice Parade.
Fremont,
But I've
that's
actually said for a while that if I were to run for office and people saw that, I would just own it. If someone
Of
said, "Oh my
course.
God, I can't believe our candidate has, like rollerbladed naked in parades," and I'd have to come out and go, "Yeah, that was the Fremont Solstice Parade. Have you ever tried it? It's awesome. You get all these people, that kind of thing." And like, because most politicians, what would they do? They tried to walk it back. I was young, I was stupid, I didn't know what I was doing, this, that, and the other thing. And I'm not sure that anyone would be prepared for someone to take the, "Yeah, it was awesome. Have you ever done it? You should go," tactic where it's like, not only is this okay to do, but it's an awesome thing to do. I don't think politicians or rather the press is prepared to handle that from a politician.
Probably
Right,
not.
right. I don't know that the public is willing to go for it, really, when you come down to the most of them anyway. I mean, there are
Well,
still a
maybe
lot of
more.
old fogies that have yet to die off. The kids coming up, yeah, it's going to be fine. But we're in that whole transition
Well-
period where, okay, yeah, you're waiting to get rid of the people that are my age. Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is that like a lot of the people who would expect like a backpedal or a denial, I think they'd be weirded out that they're not getting the ammo they thought they would. Because like I say, whenever a politician is caught doing something, they always do the walk of shame. They always
Yeah.
do the if not outright denial, at least the like, "Oh, I didn't mean it." Like Clinton's, "I didn't inhale with the marijuana."
Jesus Christ,
You know what I mean?
yes.
That kind of thing. And I really don't think that a person saying like totally owning whatever it was they did, I don't know that they're ready for that.
Oh,
But
Mitch
I also
McConnell.
think people would respect it though.
They have changed their wording on the next stimulus package now.
Oy, oy.
Yesterday, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell changed his tune and said that a second stimulus check could well be part of the next coronavirus relief. Equally telling was his follow-up remark: "I think the people who have been hit the hardest are people who make about $40,000 a year or less."
Well, the or less, I'll give that. Yeah, there are quite a few of
Yeah,
us.
so he's trying to cap it at 40,000.
Oh, I see.
For people who have an income of less than 40,000, you'll get the check. But if you have more, you won't get it.
Well, now, how is he going to bury the perks for the corporate guys and the extremely rich in there if he's wording it that way?
Oh, he's
I
not.
have no-
They will say this is a separate thing. It's not related. You don't get to criticize the corporate bailout,
Oh
like
yeah.
in the same breath as the bailout for the people. I'm sure that'll be what they'll say. But like I've seen some critics and pundits and stuff saying, why can't we have two different bills for the corporate bailout and the bailout for the people? Why are those on the same bill? They shouldn't be. They should be separate bills entirely.
Well, they should be, but remember that should and are two different things. This is an
Yes, but
age-old way to get the thing that you want that the general public doesn't exactly want. You attach the thing that they don't want to the thing that they do want.
That's how it works. We all know that's how it works. But the point is, though, that the people who don't want it to work that way aren't taking the opportunity to hammer it home. I mean, like someone could step up and say these have to be separate so that we can criticize one without losing it. Like, it's not all or nothing. It's not baby with the bathwater. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But no one's doing it.
Yeah, I don't. There seems to have been very recently an organic change in the way some of the far right, the alt right politicians are handling things. Even Mitch McConnell has walked back on some of the things that he has said. He sounds like, or his office anyway, sounds like they're getting less hard right. They're getting less corporate, that sort of thing. I want to know what's going on. I cannot see them doing this on an extended basis. They really can't be changing, can they?
Well, they might actually end up having to for a couple of different reasons. For example, you know what happened recently with that autobiography? What was it, by John Bolton, I think?
Well, there are a
And
couple
Trump.
of books out. Yeah, there's the Bolton book,
Right, but
and
this,
then there's the
this
Mary
is a
Trump book.
specific book I'm talking about. I'm talking about a very specific book because they had the Supreme Court, like they tried to get it blocked, and the Supreme Court said, no, you
That's the
have
Bolton
to.
book. Yeah, no, I don't think that the Mary Trump book went to the Supreme Court.
Right, but my point is that this book was kind of a tell-all, and it was kind of explaining some of the ways that the Trump administration is functioning but not working, if you see the distinction.
Oh yeah.
And like I think a couple of Republicans are trying to distance themselves from it, is the point.
More than a few.
And so I think they're realizing that the ride is over in some ways, and they do have to reform how they behave, at least a little bit.
Oh, by the way, I just looked at the cases for the United States. 46,727.
Today?
Yeah.
Oish.
Wait, new cases? Almost 50,000?
New cases, yes.
Wow.
Every day. Yeah.
We could be reaching 100,000 a day at this rate.
Well, that'll just, as I say, it'll make it easier when I try to rise to the throne.
Yeah, you won't have that much competition, let me tell you. And what is it? Is it the morons in Florida who are insisting that in-person education commence in August?
I hadn't heard that one.
It gets even worse because apparently ICE has decided to say, to all immigrants here for an education, you either have to transfer to a school that does in-person classes or get out of the country.
I saw that one, yes.
Man, I mean, these people really want to deny that the plague is happening at all, aren't they? Or that seems to be their thing, is they don't want to admit there's a problem. I mean, Trump put the same crapola. That was why we weren't prepared, is he did not want to admit that there was a problem that could possibly happen on his watch.
Yeah, well, to appropriate a phrase that was in use back at the height of the Cold War, the bear must keep his face clean, and
Never heard that one.
yeah, the bear is the symbol of Russia in general, I think, but it was associated with the Soviet Union, and the Soviet Union always had to deny anything bad that was happening to them.
Oh, okay.
You know, for example, Chernobyl, you know, that sort of thing. The reactor
You mean
blows.
Chernobyl?
Yeah, that's the one in the Balkans. Yeah.
Yeah, but you just pronounced it funky, and I wanted to make sure we were talking about the same thing.
Okay. And yeah, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And then finally, after how long? Yeah, we did have a slight problem. And,
Well, I mean, China pulled the same shit, you know?
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
it originated over there. We know that, although, you know, it's obviously racist to point it out in the wrong context. But they knew that it was happening and denied the hell out of it as hard as they could.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And this is why I will not necessarily blame anybody here in the U.S. specifically on that point. You know, to say that you're doing something out of character for anybody in the entire globe when you deny these things.
It's one thing to say that, I mean, they did the wrong thing, and there's no denying that.
Oh, right, yes, absolutely.
Saying it's out of character, on the other hand, well, I'm not going there.
Right.
I mean, it was completely in their character. It was just still the wrong thing to do.
That's, yeah, where I was trying to go and doing it very badly. Oh, for the love of St. Gulick. Yeah.
Oh, and I got some actually good news regarding this whole situation in Florida.
Oh, boy.
As Florida sets the most dubious of records amid the coronavirus pandemic, Miami-Dade County has decided it's done playing by the state's rules. As of tomorrow,
really?
restaurants in the county, the state's most populous, will be shut down again, except for takeout and delivery.
Okay, then.
The mayor's executive order.
Oh man, I was in my favorite Mexican joint a couple of days ago to pick up some takeout. And there were like whole families in there not wearing any masks, which I realized would make eating difficult. But regardless, they're all just sitting there breathing on things. And I'm like, really? Is really?
I saw
I
the
don't
picture
know.
you posted
Yeah.
you know, from there. And I don't like the idea of any sit-down dining opening up at the moment anywhere, really. Of course, that's just me. You know, what do I know? But even the takeout makes me a little queasy. But I understand that there are people who rely on takeout food. You know, to the dismay of people like the male slimy bastards, or the male slimy bastard. Oh, anything.
What was his reasoning?
Because they were poor. They didn't. I mean, the people who did the takeout and they were poor. They didn't deserve anything like that. You know, it was takeout was a luxury. But you know, you're forgetting that now, and even in the era when he was saying that sort of thing, the people who were doing the takeout almost exclusively or exclusively were doing it because they didn't have the facilities to cook anything. They didn't have the facility to open a can of SpaghettiOs and warm the damn thing. I mean, and for a long time I was like that when I lived in the bombed out shell of a house for a couple of years, and I don't want to go back to that shit.
It sounds like your old man bought into that whole alt-right, everyone has a destiny, sharks versus minnows crap.
Yeah, I think that, I forget who it was that wrote alt-right playbook, must have known him personally. Yeah, well, the one we were talking about in the green room before airtime, where he actually told me, you know, you're poor, you're not supposed to have anything. Yeah, and it was interesting that you brought up the thing where was there any room in his head for poor boy makes good, and
Right.
very very self-contradictory on that one. Well, he was never a poor boy as such. I mean, through his childhood in the Depression, that family was not that bad off. They were pretty well off. They were not the J.P. Morgans of their day or anything like that, but they weren't scrounging for their next meal either. So, oh
Yeah.
yes, Stool, Ayn Rand again. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. You know, I never have read her books,
Good for
like
you.
Atlas Shrugged or whatever.
Oh God.
Um, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm kind of curious in that know your enemy kind of way. But at the same time, I have a shit ton of sci-fi and fantasy to read, and so screw that crap.
Yeah, I actually did read Atlas Shrugged all the way through. It was a chore. I mean, by the time I was halfway through, it was one of these. I'm not going to put it down. I am going to finish this if it kills me. You can read her descent into drug addicted madness as you read through this book. It becomes totally unhinged by the time you get to the end. Yeah, I mean, it is in its way a great way to get to know the mind of Rand, the core of objectivism. But God, it's a painful way to do it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I read it in airports and at 30,000 feet. Because it was not
Okay.
like I had anything else to do, you know.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure I would want to read it in public. I would feel kind of like people would think I believed it.
Okay, now it was a little easier when I read it because I'm reading this book in, what the hell was it? About 84.
Oh no, I mean the Ayn Rand stuff.
Yes, I was reading the Ayn Rand stuff in the mid 80s.
Okay, it's just it sounded like you misgendered Ayn Rand, but okay.
Okay, no. Ayn Rand was definitely a cishet woman as far as I know.
I could have sworn you said his, so I was confused.
Oh, okay. I cannot remember the words I used. So, well, there.
Not that it matters a huge deal. It's just I was confused.
Yeah. Well, as I've said so many times, I've said it at least once today. You're getting old when the memory goes. That's the second symptom of dementia.
Yeah.
And I
Don't
forget
go
what the
there
first
again.
is.
That joke is old. That joke is so old.
Well, so am I. Okay, you've told me that.
Yeah, well, still.
Oh, Scheiße, zu viel Scheiße. Es ist scheißvoll. Oh, my word. But other than that, yeah, my girlfriend at the time had given me that. Had given me a whole stack of the anthologies. The Virtue of Selfishness, the Romantic Manifesto. There were a couple more in there. God, man.
I mean, that's the thing is like I'm vaguely curious, but not enough to subject myself to it. Especially, as I said, when I have a ton of sci-fi and fantasy to read. Because honestly, I read for entertainment I read for the same reason I watch movies and play video games.
Okay, then. Yeah,
To like become absorbed in a world that doesn't really exist, that's infinitely cooler than the one we actually do exist in.
It doesn't take much anymore.
Because let's face it, this world stinks. Even when we don't have a plague, even when we don't have, it's just so mundane and boring. Of all the universes that might be possible, why did I have to be born in the one that's a muggle?
There you go. And then I'll go to the somebody had posted in the twatters. Would you exchange your childhood for that of a kid now? And I said, oh hell no.
Hell no.
Hell
no.
I'm old. I know that. I'm coming to the end of my ride, but I have the memory of that exciting time in the '60s. It was a time of discovery. You know, I'm talking about, of course, the whole space program thing. And
well, you would have to offer me a lot for me to give up having been a kid in the 80s. And I mean a lot.
okay, and I don't know that there is that much.
Well, my own hyperspace capable starship would be a really good start.
I think that's a couple weeks off even yet.
Well, I'm just saying, is like if you really truly want me to stop being an 80s kid, that's how you do it.
Dallas, hi honey. How is you is to is on into? What the hell did I just say?
Hi, Dallas.
Dallas Wade is here.
Dallas. I'm sorry, I heard Tellus, which is something else entirely. So I'm not sure. Am I going deaf or are you going mushmouthy?
Could be a little of both. I don't know. My mouth is kind of
guess,
dry,
but-
so there
But I
is
mean, I'm
that.
like every third or fourth sentence out of you, I mishear a word.
I don't know. Could be the dry mouth, and geez, I'm not even smoking anything, you know, to get that dry mouth. So I don't know, man. Is
But like when I thought you said Tellus, I mean that's the name of a colony that is destroyed by an alien race in Space Above and Beyond, which is why I was confused. Because when would you ever have watched Space Above and Beyond?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, you're saying watched, so it's got to be either a motion picture or a television show.
It was
And I
a
haven't-
very short-lived TV series from the 90s.
Okay, and I haven't done much television in a very long time. I will have to say that. And
Well, the 90s was a very long time ago.
actually, really, it was, and it startles me when I think about it. I mean,
Me
1990
too.
was 30 years ago. Okay, so that was a while ago.
Yeah. But no, it was, like I say, very short-lived TV show. And it was one of those ones where, you know how in the 90s everything started getting all grim dark?
Yes, we've spoken of that.
Well, it was one of those. Like, it could have been a great show if it had had a little more lightheartedness to it.
Yeah, and they could have done the lightheartedness then and save all the grim and dark for now. I mean, when it just pervades everything. But oh well.
Well, that's the thing, though, is I would rather have my grim and dark at a time when the world isn't grim and dark. Because when the world is grim and dark, I want happy, fun, and cheerful to take me away from the horrible, like, whatever is going on, current events. But I realize that when it comes to that, I am so unusual. The rest of the world seems to love to wallow in misery, and I don't understand it. You know, it's like, oh, shit's horrible, so let's sing songs and make movies about how horrible life is. But wouldn't we want to feel better about the world right now? Why do we want to? Why? I don't understand. This is one of the reasons I think I'm not particularly human, is I'm just so out of touch with that need to wallow in misery. I don't get it.
Well, are you from that small planet near Beetlejuice, where Ford Prefect came from, or how is that?
No.
No, okay.
I don't. Oh, and I don't know about you, but I never knew what a prefect was the first time I read Hitchhiker's Guide, so I genuinely thought his name was Ford Perfect for a good long time.
Oh,
Because we don't
okay.
have prefects here in the United States. That's a British thing.
Yeah.
Kind of the way we have lawyers and not barristers.
Yeah, well, I think if memory has it, the Ford Prefect was
It's a
a
car,
car
yes.
model. Yes.
Yes, but prefect, the prefect, the thing is like a thing they have in schools. They mention them in Harry Potter a lot.
Oh, okay, fine.
So I mean, yes, Ford Prefect was named after the car, but a prefect is a thing that we don't have in the United States, regardless of the car.
Yeah, the only times I really heard it mentioned in the U.S. was Roddenberry mentioned prefect a couple of times in the Star Trek episodes, the old
Did he?
Well, there's
series.
also prefectures.
Well, they're
Not the
related.
point.
Yes, a prefect has authority over a prefecture, and that kind of makes sense. Just like a count has authority over a county.
Yeah,
But
but point being that a lot, like a rather large number of Americans were confused by his name simply because that's not a thing here.
yeah, yeah. Well, Americans, I don't know. Here's the interesting thing. Are Americans singular in their lack of interest in anything going on outside of America? Or,
No,
okay.
but I mean, if you're not introduced to something, how would you even know to seek it out?
Well, that's what I was wondering is, I mean, are folks in Austria or even Bulgaria or Germany or whatever more interested in seeking out other things than it seems that a lot of Americans are? A lot of Americans,
Well,
Arn went into this,
but
there's the best
I think you're putting the cart before the horse a little bit here,
maybe.
because I like finding out things like that. But first, I have to know there's something to find out. Like I can't just go, okay, let's examine this thing in Bulgarian culture. If I don't know it's there, why would I examine it in the first place? I have to know there's something to see before I can look at it.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah,
So I mean, so I can be forgiven for not knowing that there's a Ford prefect if in the first place I'd never heard of a Ford prefect. The first time I encounter it, I can be forgiven for not knowing what it is. But I can also be forgiven for not seeking it out because I didn't know it was there to be sought.
Now, I mean, the kind of thing that was going through my head about it was the way Aaron described his father, who had said at least once, "This is the best damn country in the world, and I don't need to know about anything else." I hope I've got the way he did it down pretty well, because Aaron did it with the accent and everything.
Right.
And yeah, there are those people who simply don't want to know. They think that what they've got is the best there is, even if, when you look at it from the outside, it ain't all that good.
Yeah,
I
well,
think we're just-
I mean, I would never have bought that noble title from the Principality of Sealand if I hadn't known there was a Sealand. I wouldn't have even been there to think it was cool that was even a thing.
Yeah, yeah. And this is the great thing. I mean, you're interested in this sort of thing. It's there's something besides what I'm in the middle of. This is great. The whole thing.
Right, but I mean, if someone said, "Oh, you're
Not
just an
helpful,
ignorant
come on.
American because you didn't know this, that, or the other thing existed," I'd be like, "Well, but it's not like I was uninformed by design. I didn't decide to not learn a thing. I was just never exposed to it." But apparently some people still say, "Oh, well, that means you're stupid." It's like that's pretty obnoxious.
Well, no, not stupid, bullheaded maybe, but
No. I'm saying they've said it.
moo,
Other people
moo,
have
yeah,
said it.
moo.
So,
Oh my, what do we have here? NANA says Amiga Nuts was grilling some barbecue chicken. Got to clean up and really need to shave my head. And you need to shave your bread? I want to see that. Let's make a video about that, man.
I don't know, maybe that's just a way of making croutons or like making the breading for the top of something. I don't know.
There you go. There you go.
I don't know.
We love
Sometimes
you,
I'm
dear.
not sure I want to actually know what's in croutons. I can't help feeling that they're like the hot dogs of the bread family. You know, this is where we put the bread equivalents of lips and assholes. This is anything that we didn't originally use in the bread steak or whatever. You know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, well, you know how the whole geology thing works, where you have, for example, the sedimentary rock and then the metamorphic rock. That's the sort of thing that you've got with the croutons. Now, whereas you have silts piling up to form shale, and then under pressure it becomes slate, and then it becomes gneiss and schist, I believe, or is it schist and then gneiss? That's the same sort of thing with bread. It starts out as bread, and then becomes stale bread, and then it's chopped up into croutons, and the croutons are then pulverized into breadcrumbs. See, that's the geology of bread. You can shoot me now.
I'm not sure I necessarily agree. I think it's probably the other way around when it comes to the order of croutons versus breadcrumbs, to be honest.
Okay, okay.
But I mean, because I think croutons are just really big breadcrumbs.
I see where you're coming from there. Yes. Oh my word. It's amazing though that you'll go to the grocery store and you'll pay $1 for a bag of stale bread, you know?
Well, I mean, okay, to be fair, I've had a number of croutons that were seasoned in one fashion or another.
Oh yes, yes. And they can be very tasty. Yes, they
Yeah.
can. Oh.
Like actually, the truth is that like croutons in butter or olive oil are pretty good.
Interesting. What do you do? Do you fry them or do you just soak them in that?
Neither, you dip them.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay, okay. It's something I haven't done. I'll have to give that a try someday. No, usually
Yeah.
I've had my breadcrumbs on, say, various forms of vegetation, and then when it comes to dipping, it's a fondue or sometimes a fondant, depending on my mood, where you know the bread is not rock hard yet.
I just had a really good idea.
Hmm.
You know how I've been trying to find a way to eat salad that uses a salad dressing that isn't something I find disgusting?
Okay, fine.
Well, I'm thinking that like olive oil and some of that lemon pepper would go great on a salad.
Oh, wouldn't it though? I mean, I'm just hearing you describe it, and I said, yeah, that would be very, very tasty.
Yes. Oh, I'm going to have to try that because I've been wanting to eat salad for a while, but there's no way to make it palatable or make it not just a bunch of raw vegetables.
And
Because it's just about like I cannot find a salad dressing I like because they're all either like vinegar based or they're that like nasty creamy ranch looking shit. Um, and so yeah, oh, I'm gonna have to try this, but not until tomorrow because
yeah,
today is that spending blackout, you know?
please try it and write a report. I'd love to hear about this. Now, yeah, the whole thing with the vinegar-based stuff, I have a problem with it, mainly because the vinegar burns my lips, especially the
I
corners
just
of
don't
my
like the
mouth.
taste.
Say again?
I just don't like the taste. The taste is awful.
Okay, yeah, I get, I mean, it's not quite acid burn, but it's really, really close. So what I end up doing is dumping a little bit of baking soda onto the salad and then putting the vinegar-based dressing on, mixing it all up. You still get the flavor of the vinegar, but it's not burning the shit out of your lips.
See, I don't really get why people use baking soda. I mean, I've tried it, but you know, like it just crystallizes. The syrup kind of goes a little like almost like rock candy on you if you bake it at the right temperature, and all the caffeine is lost. And if you choose Pepsi instead of Mountain Dew, it just tastes weird.
Okay then. Oh my, oh my, oh my.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I'll just,
you'll be
know.
over there, right?
Well,
Oh, what do we have here? Yay! I had seen a name earlier, and I don't see the name in the chat. I don't know if the person is here or not, but there was a person I had talked to a little bit ago on Twitter about other things who had come by. Linda Walker, are you still here? Love to have you here. And,
come on down. You're the next contestant on Who Gets a Wrench.
there you go. And yeah, this is what we are all about, Tuesdays and Sundays. And it's not like we don't have better things to. Well, Kate, you've got a bunch of better things to do. I don't know about me.
I'm doing one of them right now, actually.
Aw. What you up to?
Well, you know the animation I'm working on. I have been working on that as we chat. There's something I'm doing that I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe it's a bad idea. Maybe it's a good idea. Because you know how the animation I'm working on is very sort of pulp sci-fi kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And and so as a result, there's like the sensual, sexy women on Venus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And you have some of
I was
those.
thinking at some point I might have the main character ask, like, why do I only ever see Venusian females? Where's the Venusian males? And I would have like the Venusian character that he asks, she'd be like, you've seen Venusian males before. And have him go, but where? I don't recognize them. And she'll point at something that looks sort of vaguely like this. Male. And when he stares at her in utter disbelief, have her go, what? We don't look like we may look like you, but we're not you. We're not humans. You know?
Uh-huh.
And so like the Venusian males will be almost like plants that just sort of sit there.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like a garlic bulb, really.
I was thinking eggplant, but sure.
Okay, fine.
Point being that so I've been spending some time building the look of a Venusian male while we've been chatting.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, you better watch yourself, honey. All that coughing and stuff, that could be symptomatic. You don't want that.
And no, it's mostly just sinuses, as far as I know.
It is a rhinovirus, dude.
Yeah,
What,
that's
you
the
mean
that's the
coronavirus?
wonderful thing. You've got the cerveza virus going around, and you've got the flu virus that's starting around, and you've got the bubonic plague that's starting to make the rounds. And what the hell else
Can
is?
you believe that?
Say again, hon?
I said, oh my gosh, can you believe that crap? The freaking bubonic plague.
Uh-huh.
Oy,
Well,
2020 wants us dead, doesn't it?
sure do. I mean, I do know that there's the occasional case every year, but just showing up along with all the other stuff, I mean, couldn't it have taken a year
And
off,
the
really?
Ebola.
Who, what, where?
And the Ebola.
What, are we having an Ebola breakout now, too?
Yep.
Okay.
Let me put it this way. This year is a dumpster fire.
No, it's a Trumpster fire.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
But I mean, the thing is that actually, apparently, with the Black Plague thing that's going on,
Uh-huh.
China stepped up quickly this time, or so we're told.
Okay, then. Yeah, so...
Well, 'cause you know how like they tried to cover up Corona when it first escaped from Wuhan.
Oh, of course they did,
And,
yes. And
You know, and that made it so that the rest of the world was caught off guard. This time, with the plague, the literal plague, they apparently said, yeah, we're going to actually do what we're supposed to do instead of denying it's a problem this time.
Okay, but is
So-
it known how early in the plague cycle they did admit that it's there? I mean, has it been around for a little while? Can we figure out, or...
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
what
don't know
what I
either.
do know is that they are not doing, I don't know, they admitted it this time around. Let's just put it that way. Like they did it at all.
Yeah, and what's nice, if you want to call anything associated with the plague nice, is that, I mean, there is a treatment for it.
What, for
Unlike,
Black Death?
say again?
For Black Death?
Yes, there's a course of antibiotics that can take care of that. Yeah, because it is a bacterial thing. That's what I think they're called bubons are all about. Those big welts and everything else, which is where you get bubonic plague from, that are all full of everything, and then they break open, and that's how everything spreads. Yeah, I know there are some people who cannot take certain antibiotics or some. I don't know if there's anybody who's allergic to every antibiotic in the world. I certainly hope not. But yeah, I mean, there are cases pretty much every year, here, there, and everywhere. But you knock them out really quickly, and you've got no problem. Unlike cerveza-virus, where we don't know anything to do about it yet.
Well, it's like really stupid is when I get some people who don't like me, certain detractors, they will try to call me bubonic dunce. Like that even makes any sense.
Acerbic sometimes, yes, but not bubonic.
But that's one of the lamest insults I've ever heard. That's like a child's playground taunt,
Oh, you mean like stuff that comes out of the current administration? Yeah, all right.
Well, I don't mean that at all. Because while Trump has occasionally given silly nicknames to his opponents, this is even more childish, I hate to say.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
You mean like the Kung Flu?
Yeah, that kind of thing. But I was actually thinking of names he gave people.
Yeah, and that's what comes to my mind. That whole Sleepy Joe and Pocahontas, and yeah, I mean, to me, it strikes my ear as an 8-year-old saying that shit. But
like I said, a school child's taunt.
Yeah, I really wish that at the very least we could have a political environment that would kind of grow up a little. I'm asking too much. I know I am, but I mean, the other side of the aisle isn't immune to it totally either. There's the thing.
Well, but it's not the same at all.
Well, I mean, it's not quite as childish, but I mean, there's a lot of.
Bear in mind,
what's a name that someone on the left has called someone on the right that's even close to some of the stuff that like Trump or even Shrubya were coming up with?
Moscow Mitch.
Who said that?
Who?
Diana.
Well, you've got the things like Moscow Mitch and that sort of thing. Some of the other thing I'm thinking of is just the constant mudslinging, which, when you look into the term, it's not mud; it's something else. But they're throwing shit at each other across the aisles, doing nothing but complaining about the other, getting nowhere with any of it. So, I'd like to see both sides get a little more reasonable.
Well, I mean, what does that even mean, though? What does that look like?
Willing to work. I know this sounds, oh my God, I sound like a politician and I don't want to do that. But willing to work together, willing to talk to each other, exchange ideas, and say, okay, here, how about this? And then, well, that won't exactly work, and here's why. Oh, I see your point. What if we change this little thing? Well, that might work. That's sort of back and forth. Where you're just, you're not kicking the crap out of each other. You're actually trying to work toward a goal.
But that's the problem, is they don't have the same goals.
I
mean,
I know.
Similar enough goals, but or even like goals where I don't really want that, but I'm not completely against it. But our goals are antithetical. You can't have one and the other at the same time.
Right, and here's where I'm Yeah, a little bit of the referring is I'm gonna have to put it on the shoulders of the right side of the aisle, where yeah, you're just gonna have to drop some of that shit. Um, I'm not saying that the lefties are perfect either, but the far right's got some real problems. Gotta drop some of that shit, and then get to the point where we can actually have a decent interchange of ideas.
Well, but see, that's the problem, though. Is we already have a decent interchange of ideas. What we don't have are ideas that are compatible.
Oh, okay. I was kind of assuming compatibility when I said that, but I see where you're coming from. Yeah.
That's the divide. It's like, we want gays to be able to get married. Well, we want them to never be married. You can't meet in the middle there.
Oh no, you
know?
cannot. Right.
Well, that's the problem, though. It's almost every issue now is it's either what we want or what you want. There is no middle ground. And I'm not even necessarily saying that they're refusing to compromise. I mean that you cannot have one without the other or one with the other. It's the whole, married bachelor problem.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's gonna be no working across the aisle until we start agreeing on what the goals should be.
Yeah, and
For one, during
unfortunately,
this Ram pandemic.
and unfortunately for what some people will take this to be, yeah, I think the right hand side has to do a little bit more than the left hand side does. Because, yeah, I'm going to say it. The alt right are a little. Can I say less than human in some of their ideas?
Unfortunately, I think they might be all too human.
Okay, I see where you're coming from there. Yeah. Certainly less than generous. Certainly less than empathetic. Certainly less than charitable. Yeah.
Assholes.
Well, you have to understand, when it comes to that, I mean, every one of us, when it comes to biology, there's the ball of cells that, you have the sperm and the egg uniting, and then you start dividing, and you get this ball of cells, and then you start an invagination, where you make a dimple into the ball, and it starts to go through one side to the other. The side that begins that dimple in humans later becomes the anus. So, as Aaron has already said, there is a time in the life of every person alive when they were nothing but an asshole.
Unfortunately, it seems that our politicians haven't grown out of that stage.
Or worse, maybe they grew into it.
It had to be said.
I mean, because I know that there are politicians who have gone to Washington with like this idealistic, I'm going to change the world attitude, and just got worn down to the point where they're just another corporatist.
Yeah, I don't know if it's happened to some of the people I'm thinking of yet, but unfortunately it's probably going to get there, and I don't like that idea either.
What we should do is we should make it so that some of the younger people can get in instead of having all these incumbent assholes.
Now, what we should do? We should have term limits for Congress. Or we should very, 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 very strongly enforce rules that say while you're in Congress, you cannot invest in a business.
I have thought of that sort of thing much times, and I'm wondering how one could actually implement that. Because here's...
I just think it would have to be a requirement. If you are going to run for office, you have to first divest yourself of every investment you've made. You have to sell it all off and get rid of it and make sure that you're living like clean as far as that's concerned.
Well, what comes to my mind is, how do you divest yourself without impoverishing yourself, because they're not going to want to do that, in such a way that you cannot
Okay,
look
stop,
forward.
stop, stop, stop. We're getting so much echo off of you right now.
I'll fix that.
Okay. It was getting to the point where I could barely understand you.
I was hearing the echo as well, yes. Topalkisa, Tatopalkapetianta, Ikanabekaparosta, Bedepekindi. Wow. Oh,
Okay, so you were saying something about like investments and impoverishing yourself.
yeah, how do you divest yourself without impoverishing yourself? Because you really don't necessarily want to do that. You don't want to make this
Well-
person dirt poor. But how do you divest in such a way that you still cannot have control over what you will do in the future with what you've divested yourself of, or the value of what you've divested yourself of? When
Okay, I think
you
you're
do,
saying something in a really complicated and roundabout way that I can express a lot more simply.
okay,
You're saying, how can we prevent crony capitalism?
okay, I'll go for that.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, because I know that there have been some politicians out there where they've been told by business people, like as soon as you leave office, there will be a position for you.
Yes, yeah. That too.
So yeah, like even if it's future corruption down the road, how do you prevent it? Make the term limits that short. You know, to the point where, because a lot of the businesses that try to buy politicians with the crony capitalism and the corruption and all of that, they expect to invest in a politician for a good long time to get that politician working for them. You know, like it's not, they're not playing a short game when it comes to who they manipulate in that fashion.
Okay.
And
okay.
so, you know, if we make it so that a politician, or so that a company that wants the quid pro quo from a politician doesn't have time to invest, you know, we're getting that echo pretty bad still.
I'm trying to find the settings here.
That's probably
to...
me.
Yeah, start muting people and find out. Here, let me mute myself. Start speaking for a second. Let me mute myself.
Okay, I am speaking and saying things and doing all kinds of stuff like that, and yeah, I'm still hearing it. I'm still hearing it, and I have.
Let me mute myself.
Point being that, yeah, it seems to be him.
It's fixed. Yep.
Point being that, like, if you
How's
are
this?
people
It
who,
was much better when you muted yourself. Actually, there was no echo.
yeah. Although I'm not hearing one now either, so that's
Yeah, I had my speakers on.
that
Well,
would
that'll
explain
do
it.
it. Yeah, that's the way feedback works.
I mean, like they figure there will be this congressperson who will be in Congress for what, like 10, 20, 30 years, like so many of them are.
Yeah.
And so these companies think, I can invest in this person. I can try to keep them in office, keep feeding them money, promise them this, that, or the other thing in stocks and all of that. So that for years they will be working to further my ends, my aims, my goals. But if like they can only count on what, 2, 3, 4 terms for a politician, they can't make that investment because they don't know what's coming up next. They don't know that this politician will be able to get that much entrenched power and this, that, and the other thing. So if the term limits are short enough and they're not allowed to invest in anything while they're in office, that could work.
Okay, now you have just stated a reason that makes me really like the sound of term limits. That is something I had not yet really considered. And okay, I'm a dumb broad, I know that. But yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way. And I'm kind of on board with the whole term limit thing based on that argument.
Now, I seem to remember there was another argument for why term limits weren't such a good thing. And I forget exactly what it was, but it kind of made sense where it was like, well, if you have term limits, then the Congress people won't have time to get the experience they need to really like invest themselves in being in Congress to know the nuances of how everything works. But in a way, that's almost a good thing. Like there is footage out there, we've probably all seen it, of Joe Biden giving a speech saying when he was new in government, he said, okay, start bribing me. And they said, you're too young, come back when you're 40, son.
Yes,
Like I'm sure you've
yes,
seen
yes.
that
I've seen
footage.
it. I've seen it. Yeah.
And that's the same kind of thing. Although, I mean, in some areas you can kind of a little bit see like for example, AOC is slowly starting to become slightly more corporatish as time goes by. Not very, but you
Mm-hmm.
can start to see the cracks at the seams a little. That she's starting to get into that rhythm of Washington, where before, like she was giving speeches saying, like she started trying to get stuff done, and one of the congressmen was like one of the old congressmen. He said to her, "You've only been here for a little long time. That's for a little time. That's not how we do things. You got to play the game," he said to her. And
Yeah,
she was
yeah,
interpreting that as a bad thing, but you can start to see her playing the game a little.
yeah. And playing the game has its bad points, of course, and it does have its good points because when you do play the game, other people pay attention to you. Whereas when you're not playing the game, you're the lone wolf. You can easily be shouted down.
Mm.
How then does one go about playing the game while still retaining that attitude that one had at the beginning? Because there is this thing that I can see happening where someone would start out trying to play the game, trying to play a role in playing the game, but
And then takes on the
eventually,
role.
yes, eventually loses themselves in the role. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is a problem. And I worry that's what's happening to some people that I previously respected more.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But what can you do other than try to change the game, I guess?
Yeah, and can you change the game? I guess I'll say quickly enough to where the shock dislodges the pillars of the game. Um,
Uh, hmm. I don't know. I mean, one of the things that I worry about is I think that ranked choice voting would be a really good thing.
oh, so
And
do
I'm
I.
sure,
So do I.
right. But here's the problem with that is that the people we would need to approve um, ranked choice voting are the very people who are invested in it not being a thing.
Yes,
You
yes,
know, because
yes.
it puts their jobs at risk if we have ranked choice voting. They know that they would have to start behaving themselves if we had ranked choice voting. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
think they're prepared to accept that. So they have to be ousted without ranked choice voting to get ranked choice voting. And this is what I look like when I'm not super confident we'll ever manage that.
Yeah, the thing, okay, let's say ranked choice voting is an example, but other things like that have to be affected essentially from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is what really burned me when I was younger, um, during the tumultuous time of the 60s, if you will. We always heard, you've got to work within the system, you've got to work within the system. And we kept shouting, no, you can't. The system will not allow for change. And then
Mm-hmm.
so many of those who were shouting, no, you can't, eventually became part of that system.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that is a huge part of what's going on right now with a lot of stuff, like, Medicare, for example. There's a lot of resistance to Medicare, largely on the basis of, well, we can't just start over. You have to work within what we have. You have to play that game. And I think there's a lot of folks who are sick of playing the game. I mean, you're seeing that a lot now with just like a lot, well, even the protests, the riots, all of that stuff. Uh, like, you remember when like people were saying it's okay to protest, just don't do it anywhere near the thing you're protesting. It's
Oh,
okay to
one word.
protest, but don't do it where anyone can see it.
Right,
It's
right.
all of that. I think that's kind of the sort of thing we've got going on here.
Yeah, because well, back when the orangutan first was elected, there was a lot of marching in the streets and everything, but it was to the point where you could only do it at midnight.
Mm.
I was part of some of that marching, and I'm thinking nobody sees this, and especially we are not inconveniencing anyone. The whole point of a freaking protest is to inconvenience those who are contributing to the problem and saying, okay, yeah, as long as you contribute to the problem, we're going to make life shit for you. And then if you have to do your protesting to where that doesn't happen, it's totally ineffective.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just well, you have to disobey to get things changed. That's just all there is to it.
And there have to be enough people disobeying to where the long arm of the law can't get all of you.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. I don't have the details yet, but my Seattle peeps are telling me that Chaz or Chop or whatever you want to call it now is no more. That they came in
Yeah,
and cleared people out of there.
yeah, I saw some of the early news or posts or whatever it is on there where,
Okay, so
yes, dear.
Yes. Did we
Mom?
lose her?
Did you go?
I don't know.
See if she's still in the room there, Bombardier. We need our navigator.
Compliance.
Oh
But
my, oh my.
if anyone was going to not get that, it'd be you.
I actually didn't uh, get all of the syllables.
Compliance.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
You said navigator. I
Hmm.
just, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I saw
I,
some of
I
the
did
early stuff.
think that calling it chop was a bad idea. The Chaz was better. Um, and people were like, but that just sounds like your white friend or something. And I'm like, maybe, but chop sounds violent.
Yeah, well, I
And
have to admit that the thing that would always come into my mind when I was hearing Chaz was the Bono Kid,
okay.
who was originally Chastity and became Chaz.
Oh, okay. It's not the association I have with the name Chaz, like at all.
Okay,
But
okay.
all right. Um, yeah, but anyway, like I do think that Chaz was just a friendlier name, and it was supposed to be a friendly place. I mean, yes, it was a protest, but at the same time, it was a safe space for so many people. So the fact that they wanted to rename it like that was, I think, a mistake. But no one listens to me when I start talking about like names and the marketing problem that the left has
Well,
and all of that.
your name is Phil, so you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. One of these days, the whole Phil thing has to become a meme. The whole nobody listens to Phil. I don't even
Yeah.
know why I chose the name Phil for that character. It just seemed to work better than anything else. It's Phil sounded like the guy no one listens to me. But the point is though that like I keep encountering people of color who, when encountering white people who want to help, will often tell them, sorry, this is our protest, go away. And,
Unfortunately, yeah.
and it just seems like that's kind of going to defeat the
Yes,
purpose, isn't it?
yes. You need those who are not yourself involved because that does tend to lend a little bit of credibility to the other people who are not yourself, who are causing some of the problems. Where the other people who are not yourself are saying, "Oh, look, there are people like us that are coming around to this idea. Maybe we'll listen to them the way we didn't listen to those other people.
Okay,
It
there's
does.
so many thoses and theses and thatses, and I'm not sure which one is which anymore.
Okay, yeah. Okay, let's. I'm going to try to not get myself into trouble, and it's going to fail miserably. You have the black folk protesting about what is being done to them. They actually need some white folk aligning with them, because the other white folk who are causing the problem are not listening to the black folk, but they may
Listen to
listen
the
to
white
those white
folks.
allies.
Okay, see,
How far
I
off base
actually
am
am
I?
looking at it. I'm looking at it almost from the other direction.
Okay.
Is I think that if there are white folks saying, "Look, we're with you, we're on your side, and we want to help," and they're being told, "Fuck off, whitey," I'm thinking that that could cause someone to go, "Well, now I'm joining the other side
Uh
because you
huh.
were mean to me when I tried to help you."
I
Now, is
get
that
it.
rational? Of course not. But
Oh, actually, it
people
is.
aren't rational.
Yeah, right. It's an
Yeah,
emotional response, but it does exist.
right. The response goes both ways. There are going to be white people who want to help and get told, fuck you, who are just like, well, fine. And then there are white folks who will go, well, fuck you too, and go, I'll go help the people who are against you.
Yeah, of
Mm-hmm.
course,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to
It,
go
it,
both ways. But I mean, even
yeah.
so, like there were times where I've felt hurt because I wanted to get involved, or because someone I know wanted to get involved, and were told to piss off.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've had people say, "Oh, don't give me this. Don't like argue with your allies stuff." I'm like, but like you're turning away help. You're turning away out. Why? I don't know. I did like their logic didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
Hmm.
well, I feel some of that way back when I wanted to be more active in the queer community, and there were the occasional ideas that the entrenched folks didn't exactly like. I got dogpiled so much that it was like, okay, I'm looking at it. I really don't see a reason to change. I see a reason to talk about it, but I don't see a reason to completely turn around. So I'm just going to go over there. And they lost me. They don't have me around where I may have been able to help in some way. I mean, I'm giving myself maybe too much credit, but I don't know.
Well, a lot of people get set in their ways and refuse to reorder their thinking around new information.
Yep.
And I think this is very similar along those lines, where it's like, this is probably why you get like turf lesbians, for example.
Okay,
You
okay.
get I mean, because there's a lot of folks who are like, we don't want them in our ranks. And we don't want that. Hell, there are people out there who say that bisexuals don't belong in LGBT, that it should just be lesbians and gay men.
Yeah,
No.
it's a bunch of
Well,
poo poo.
I agree. That's pretty dipshitical, but there's people out there who are saying it.
Yes.
And so it wouldn't shock me to discover that this is what's going on with some of the folks who are telling other people to piss off when they're trying to be on the same team.
Yeah.
I have a number of friends who are bisexual, and it's like, well,
Well, I don't know what to tell you. People dumb. That's about the only answer I got here. People dumb.
Da Brozhny. Yes.
Hmm.
yep.
I don't know.
Hard.
And I mean, like, there are very few groups out there that I have much against. Mostly Steve McRae and French Canadians. But still, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I actually got a like a community guidelines warning from Facebook for making a joke about French Canadians.
Oh, for the love of
What?
Saint
Like
Good.
I didn't get blocked, but they said you will be respectful when you discuss other countries. And I was like, "Really? Really? Oh, just screw off." You know.
And okay,
Also,
there's
one thing that's kind of terrifying is I got a community strike from YouTube, of all things, but for a video I made so many years ago. And I'm like, that's not fair. Older videos should get grandfathered in when you guys change your community standards.
Yeah.
Because I have how many thousands of videos now? I can hardly go through and vet them all.
Yeah, what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to take the videos off when they reach a certain age?
I don't
What's the
know.
point in that? Because back cataloging is one of my favorite activities. To go
I
back
really
and-
wish. Sorry, I thought you were done.
to see what to see what somebody has done years ago. I back cataloged you there just to see what you had done. Say, like 8-10 years ago. It was great stuff. Anyway.
Well, but I mean, that's the thing, though, is like community standards used to be much more loose on YouTube. And
Yep.
so what do I do if an older video violated it? And I have how many thousands of hours of content now, or at least hundreds. I don't know. I have a lot of content. If I get dinged for some video I made back in, I don't even know, like 2009, what was I supposed to do? I mean, spend a couple of weeks watching my own videos just to see if something didn't conform?
You were supposed to have the crystal ball so you could see what would happen in 11 years or something. I don't know. I'm doing the wrong accent.
Honestly,
but
there have been times I've seriously been tempted to just private every video I got.
Uh-huh. And they'd probably strike you anyway, even though the video was private.
Maybe.
Oh,
I don't know.
My.
And they don't really even have a proper system in place to dispute a claim like that. And I'm sure even if they did, saying this video was from a long time ago and standards were different and I have too many videos to vet them all individually, this isn't fair, I bet they would go tough shit. So,
Hi, Jen. Hey.
Hey, Jenny.
what's that? Okay, hello.
Jenny with an I or Jenny with a Y?
Just
Neither.
too damn many Jens. It's
This
hard
is-
to keep track of who's
This
who.
is Jen with one N, whose claim to fame here on the Lavender Lady channel, anyway, is introducing us all to Chuck Tingle. And I don't know-
Okay.
yeah, Chuck Tingle is the person who claims to be a niche author of porn from Billings, Montana. The titles of his books, I don't know if he writes the books or if he just writes the covers, they're hilarious. You've got to look him up on Amazon because he does have the titles there. So we thank you many much for the introduction, honey. That's one of the clips that I have on my channel is the talking about the Chuck Tingle that came. I believe it's called, oh man, something or other, and Chuck Tingle and S.J. Thomason or something like that.
Oh, jeepers.
I'd have to look it up to find. I'm going to look it up just for the hell of it and put it there while we talk about other things. Pounded in the butt by my own butt. Yes.
I think I've heard the name before, but it was probably from my goth friends back in Seattle. It sounds like something they'd be into. So if I have heard the name before that, I swear.
He's absolutely off the wall and he's beautiful. I want to have him on my channel someday. I want to have him here, do a special or have him on one of the chats. I don't know. He's got the whole character going. And
What are you doing?
It's absolutely hilarious. It's beautiful.
Hi.
That Prajnie?
My cat is climbing on my chest and making it difficult because he keeps trying to rub up against the microphone.
My cats do that all the time. Speaking of which, there's Xander. Columbia has started sleeping or spending almost all of her time on the kitchen kitchen floor. I think because that's where the cold is. You know,
Oh,
like it's not
yes,
too,
yes.
like it's near the freezer, it's near the fridge, it's near a window that's got a fan not too far from it, and so I think she just likes the cool linoleum floor.
Sylvia does that
Yeah.
as well. Even the
Sorry
tiny
about
bit
that,
of
guys.
linoleum. Yeah, that was. Oh my word,
Bless you.
Gesundheit, da Prajnie. Even the little
Sorry.
bit of linoleum that's in front of the entry door, she'll curl
Hmm.
up on that. But
Well,
she was
I mean,
very.
obviously, there has been a reorganizing of who's in whose spot now, where Xander has basically taken over the kitty tree and Columbia doesn't use it anymore, which is kind of unfortunate. But
Uh-huh.
for a while there, I thought the fact that she was hanging out in the same spot constantly was like she wasn't happy. Like it was a sign that she did not like like I say, she was unhappy. And then I realized, no, it's just cool there.
Uh-huh.
My entire house is cool.
Yeah,
Um,
well,
The
I don't
stone
exactly have
floors.
decent AC, and it's how many degrees up there? Southern
Oh
California,
no,
middle of
it's
summer.
the stone floors. Even in the wintertime with the heater on, the house is cold.
Hmm. Well, that sounds like
Concrete
my
slab
experience in
floor.
Vermont anyway. It was always cold in goddamn Vermont in the wintertime.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the floors in the wintertime here, you have to have socks on and your feet will hurt.
Oh, it was the same way in Vermont, except not in the summertime.
Well,
oh,
yeah.
there we go. There we go. I found it. ASMR, Chuck Tingle, and S.J. Thomason.
Mm.
I'm gonna
But it's
grab.
ASMR?
Yeah, that's what I called the clip. We were talking about that stuff. Um, I'm gonna.
Oh. So ASMR is not actually contained in the clip. It's just something you were talking about. So that's the name of the file?
Well, we were talking about ASMR during the time period that the clip encompasses.
So, yes, exactly what I just said.
Right, right. Um, it's one of my better viewed clips. It's not the best viewed clip of all time. Yeah, this one has 141 views. My best clip of all time is the one that encompasses one of the after shows where you were on and Neil was on and Darth Dawkins was giving us
Oh,
shit.
that.
That's
The one where we kept telling him we'll debate you, just not now?
yes. That last I checked was well over 1,000 views, which for my channel is really
Go on.
something.
What? Oh, for crying out loud. I did not want filter, you stupid. Oy.
That's Borocosine.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to find out what my most viewed video is, and the way that they've set up their dashboard is just so fucked up. All right, my most viewed video, 48,401 views.
I come nowhere near that.
Yeah, well,
Well, that's because yeah, you're just so good. I mean, let's face it. Mm-hmm.
You okay, Mom?
Well, that, and I've been around for a very long time.
All right, I'm gonna go. My shoulder is starting to hurt, so I'm gonna go take some
Oh
Tylenol and lay
no,
down.
we cannot have that. No, we can. You cannot have the
Uh,
shoulder hurting. I know what that's like. That's not a good
oh
thing.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's
I
icky
know,
doo
but
doo. Is
it's
what it is.
rainy and wet and humid,
Oh, here we
so
go.
I'm
So
letting it
it's
all go out.
moist.
Oh,
Yeah, you
very.
were doing that in the whatever it was, the DM group. There we are. It's called Darth Dawkins'
It's
Day in the Sun, and about 1,100 views.
Yeah.
it's so
Wait, was I on there?
true.
Where?
Yeah, so I will
Mm.
see you all later. I'll see you Sunday,
Later.
Diana.
Well, you be good.
Bye
Yeah, see
bye.
you
I
Sunday,
By the way, you
hopefully.
will.
haven't been
And
on movie
I
night in a
feel like the
while.
plague.
Oh, I won't get the plague, hopefully.
Hey, by the
Yeah,
way,
it's
Diana,
not
you
what I
haven't been
said,
on
but
movie
okay.
night in a while.
okay, so Momnato's. No, I haven't. And the reason for that, I am old, and it is difficult for me to stay awake all the way through.
Hmm.
I mean, if I had a little more endurance, I'd be there a little more often. I mean, as it was, when Jeff was still alive, I was near the end of that period. I was actually starting to fall asleep on air occasionally, and that was always really.
Well, it doesn't seem to go as long as you described anymore. Like it usually ends around about midnight my time.
Okay, so about 3 a.m. my time. Yeah, oh my God,
Hmm.
it used to go and go and go. And the other thing that would happen is when the airtime was over, we would still be talking back and forth on the meat channel for another few hours. And there were times I didn't get to bed before noon.
Yeah, it sounds like a really good party, except without everyone getting drunk.
Not so fast.
Oh, well, okay. What did people shouting drink actually correspond to drinking at one point, or was that
Yeah,
just
yeah, there was a
okay?
lot of drinking going on, and I did my fair share of it. There was one video where I became a legend. Um, I hadn't had
Gin and Dr. Pepper.
Too loud.
I hadn't had gin and Dr Pepper for a while, and I decided I think I'm gonna drink gin and Dr Pepper tonight. And I kind of overdid it a little bit, and I was pretty well under the table by the time that show was over.
Mm. Yeah, actually, I'm finding that my tolerance for alcohol is still pretty low. Um, and that's despite having not had a drink in I don't even know how long, like one shot a year at Christmas time, basically.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's about where I
so
stand now.
so if I actually tried to participate in a drinking game, I'd probably be done pretty quickly.
Yeah, anymore, I have maybe 3 shots a year. One of them is coming up in a little less than 2 weeks. I always try to have a toast to Neil, Buzz, Mike, and everybody on the ground on my birthday, which is also the date of the first manned lunar landing. So I try to make a point to have that shot ready to go and tip that and cry a little bit.
Speaking of
And
which, happy 50th.
Well,
Happy 51st.
usually what ends up happening is I will have a shot on like Christmas Eve or something.
okay,
Because usually there's like a live stream and I'll get some eggnog and they'll put a shot in it, that kind of thing.
okay, yeah, and then sometimes I actually do sit here and I think, gee, I think I'd like a shot of rye or something like that. And I actually remember to pour it and drink it. Because there are so many times I'm thinking, gee, I'd like to have a shot. And I never get around to pouring it and I forget. And by the time I'm ready to go to bed, it's like I never did have that shot. And it's, oh well.
Hey, Kate,
Hmm.
I'm almost a legend for a couple of things on movie night.
Yeah.
So one of those is one of the most obvious. It's recently gotten a lot of traction in the last few weeks.
I can't imagine what you mean, but go on.
The other one was a sort of issue back in the olden days when I had picked out 3 random things on my CPU tower and everyone was claiming that I had a bacon fleshlight from then on for a year.
I missed that one. Okay.
And the third one, which I'm still managing to pull off, somehow is my absolute legendary reputation as a teetotaler.
Yes.
Yeah, nothing wrong
Okay.
with
Is that all you had to say about that?
Yeah, I haven't had a single shot of booze basically in my life.
And what has inspired this decision?
Well, the last time I actually remember trying alcohol, it was by complete accident, and I did not like it.
Okay.
Well, okay, here's my question then. Well, I have a couple of questions. Please try to answer them succinctly. What kind of alcohol?
I honestly don't remember. All I
So it
know is that there
wasn't
was
beer then. It was a shot or something. Yes?
it was something in
What
one
was it?
of.
Hard liquor?
I could definitely feel a burning in my throat as it went down.
Yeah, very
That's
likely hard liquor of some sort.
yeah, okay.
I
Uh
didn't
and
like it.
and was it in anything or was it a shot or what?
It was actually in. You remember the Conoco gas stations, right?
No.
Well, where I was living, there was some sort of Conoco gas station cup. That big cup with a reddish or purple coloring to it, and it had a twisty lid.
Yeah, but we're
Okay,
not
And
but
you could.
speaking. We're not
yeah,
speaking of.
I'm not
Is it in a
talking yeah,
container? Yeah.
right. I'm saying, was there a mixer? Was it like, because you can get like rum and Coke, for example. I'm asking, did it have Coke? Did it have fruit juice? What
I
was
don't
there?
know.
Okay,
Okay.
fine.
And how
That
did you react? That was so bad.
it burned, and I did not like it at all.
Oh,
I
so
thought it was.
we're not in oops, I barfed territory then.
No, we're not in oops, I barfed territory. It was. I accidentally tried a little bit of it because I thought it was soda, and it's like, nope, I'm never going near whatever that is. And I found
Yeah,
out later that was alcohol. And it's like, well, then I'm just going to stay away from that. I don't like things that burn my mouth,
yeah,
especially not things.
you get used to it after a while, or if you don't want to get used to it, there are drinks where you won't even feel it.
Yeah, I mean, there are
Yeah,
people
but
who think I'm weird, and well, that's
Well,
almost
yeah.
everybody. But I mean, for my tastes, I love Scotch whiskey, single
Yes, but
malts.
that's just gross.
Well, there you have it. Yeah, so many people think I'm really, really weird because I like the stuff, and they say, "Oh God, that tastes like Element 53," and well, actually, I should say it tastes like an alcoholic solution of Element 53, but that's another story entirely. A tincture, in other words. And it's like, no, it doesn't taste like that to me. It tastes like oak, and I like that flavor. So I'm going to drink it, and you can go, as far as I'm not going to drink tequila the way you do because I don't like that.
Well, how though with the drinking of tequila? Because I know some drinks that where the main alcoholic ingredient is tequila, but they're nothing like just doing a shot or even like a margarita thing. I mean, there are some good tequila drinks out there. It just depends on what you're into.
Yeah, I am not enamored of straight tequila. It has a
Well,
weird
who would
flavor
be?
to my palate.
Seriously, but you should. I mean, I know people who say they absolutely despise this drink or that drink or this food or that food, and the problem was that they weren't eating or drinking it right.
Okay,
For
okay.
example, okay, a non-alcoholic example is Vegemite, because Vegemite smells really nasty, and there's a lot of people who aren't from Australia who are just all ew, gross. But when they've tried it, they spread it on like it was peanut butter. And that is not how you use Vegemite. You use Vegemite by putting a thin, 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 small coating on it,
Right,
like like
yeah.
like almost just a glaze on the bread, and then you eat that. So it's more of an accent than a dominant taste. And if you were to eat Vegemite the wrong way, chances are good you'll never, 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 ever, ever, ever like it. But if you have it served to you the way it's supposed to be served to you, you might actually enjoy it. Now, I probably still won't because I'm a super taster, but I've heard this story from Australians a lot, you know?
Okay.
Um, and so it may well be that if you've encountered tequila and you didn't like it, it may have been served to you badly.
Okay, I will allow for that, and I may even try a margarita at some point when I'm able to go out and have one.
Well, what you should do is go with someone who knows their booze and tell them what you do and don't like, and set them loose to find what you should be drinking that you don't already, and let them experiment a little. If they don't get it right on the first drink, give them another shot.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
there is a
So
quality to a straight tequila. I cannot find the words for it. It's a very weird taste. It's not the alcoholic burn. It's a very very strange taste that the agave has that I don't like when the tequila is straight. Now, what
Well,
can
it
you?
sounds like me trying to drink club soda.
Okay, okay, yeah, and the club soda can have weird tastes to some people because that does have various mineral salts in it that
You're
impart.
trying really hard not to say quinine, aren't you?
No, no, no. Club soda and
No?
no, club soda and tonic are two different things.
Oh, doesn't matter. They are both disgusting.
Okay.
But
No, but I mean
but
the tonic
regardless,
water. I love that particular chemical compound. Yeah, the one that you don't like to hear me name. Quinine.
it's quinine.
Oh
But
man, I grew up at first. Well, no, that sounds like I grew up more than once, and I never grew up. Back when I was very young, I didn't hear the term tonic
ah,
water. Um,
sorry, something I clicked on tried to play sound, and I didn't want it to.
yeah, I didn't hear the word tonic water. I heard quinine water, and it took a while until I figured out what tonic was, and yeah, it was what they were calling quinine water.
Hmm.
And the reason I can say those two things is because quinine water contains quinine, but yeah,
Except it's quinine.
it's what they called it. There was a name for it, and the name is something different. Uh,
Yeah, like you can be shown how wrong your pronunciation is, but you're just gonna stick to your guns, aren't you?
Partially because. No, it's really weird. I was looking for club soda. Was it yesterday or the day before? When I went to Squall Mart, I wanted some club soda because I haven't had club soda in a hell of a long time. And all I could find were these tiny cans, these 7-ounce cans, where a 6 pack was something close to $4. And it's like, I'm not going to pay that much for simple club soda. Doesn't anybody, put out a even a half-liter bottle for a reasonable price anymore? I just couldn't find it that day. Um,
What? No schleps?
no, they didn't have any of that, and they had other flavors by the Schweppes brand, but they did not have the clubs. They had plenty of Schweppes tonic. I don't like the tonic anymore because it's so damn sweet. Damn it.
To answer Jen's question, how do I taste cilantro? Mostly with my tongue.
Anyway, I'm gonna go because I want to do other things. So see ya, y'all.
Well,
Have
you be
fun.
good and have fun, and yeah, I
Will do.
know.
But no, cilantro tastes almost exactly like a bar of soap.
Ah, you're one of those people. Yes. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, there is an entire group of people that taste soap when they taste cilantro. And no, Jen, I have not had a rusty nail.
I actually have forgotten most of the drinks I used to know, but for a while there, I was licensed as a bartender. Like, I never actually worked as a bartender, but I did get the license at one point, thinking I might.
Okay.
And so I had so many drinks memorized, but now I've forgotten most of them. Oh well, whatevs, not important. But the point is that like I should know what a rusty nail is. The problem is that there are a couple of other drinks that use those words.
I just looked it up, and I know the drink by another name, and I cannot remember what that other name is. A rusty nail is 2 parts Scotch whiskey to 1 part Drambuie, which is based on Scotch whiskey. So you're basically just drinking Scotch and sugar. It's the way it works.
Well, okay, there's something I do not understand, and maybe someone can explain it to me. But like, okay, why is a martini a martini? Because it's mostly just vodka or gin.
Right.
Like I don't think there's even really a mixer in there. You just sort of shake it up with the ice.
Um, yeah, and I don't like what they call sweet
Ooh.
martini. The martini I rather like is the dry vermouth. Pour some of that into the martini glass, swirl it around, pour it back, and then pour the gin into the martini glass. And whatever vermouth was clinging to the inside of the glass is the vermouth that goes into that martini. Um,
Yeah. See, here's the thing. You lost me the very instant you said dry.
oh, okay. Yeah, I like dry more than I like sweet when it comes to
Ugh.
anything, really.
Ugh. Ugh. That's like something that tastes dry is one of the things that will trigger the super taster.
Okay, okay.
Oh, there's something that might be useful. So I've mentioned before people have started clearing out my Amazon wish list, and I've been looking for stuff to fill it with. And I figure if I'm going to be getting that Nintendo Switch, I might as well get a game case for it.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
to hold the cartridges.
Yeah, yeah. I forget exactly what I taste, Jen. It's not soap.
Hmm.
So if it's a binary, then it'll be lemon. If it's not, then it's whatever is not soap. I haven't garnished anything with cilantro in a long time, so
See,
wait a minute.
one thing I one thing I got when I knew I was going to get that Switch was this thing. It's sort of like the cross between a fanny pack and a hip holster, but it's big enough for the Switch and it has pockets for the games. But I figure why not put a game, like a game case, on my wish list just in case.
Okay, then. A drink called a dog fart.
I don't know that one. I know the
Why?
slippery nipple though. Slippery nipple is a fun drink to say.
Oh, boy, moi. I've heard the name and I cannot remember what the hell is in it.
A slippery nipple. I'm pretty sure it's like butterscotch or something.
Okay, slippery nipple.
It says
Ingredients:
here
half ounce Bailey's and a half ounce.
Sambuca and Irish cream. It says.
Yeah, what is sambuca? I forget.
I don't know. I should know and I don't. I think it's, let's see, Sambuca. Ew, this sounds gross. An Italian anise flavored, usually colorless liqueur.
Oh,
Anise is so
oh.
gross. I hate anise like you wouldn't believe. Ew.
Yeah, we have talked about anise. I'm not going to run out and eat somebody's entire supply of anise containing stuff, but I don't mind. I rather like it. Well, I like anise, I like licorice. They are very similar.
Ugh. Yeah. Ugh, licorice is so gross too.
And an ouzo is based on licorice. And yeah, a Greek friend of mine introduced, well, he grew up in Athens. I mean, how Greek can you get?
So disgusting.
Introduced me to that stuff. Um, oh, look, it appears that Sambuca displays the ouzo effect. So it's got to be a very high proof. Um,
But how just it I don't understand the appeal of licorice. I just don't.
okay. Wait a minute. Okay, hang
I
on.
mean, although I did discover something
Oh my!
recently.
I pulled my
I,
headset.
I know like people say that red
It is
licorice
the
isn't
poo
really
poo.
licorice, and I get it.
Did you
But
know that
like
it
I've
is
been
the poo
watching a
poo?
lot
Over
of The
here.
Big
There
Bang
you go.
Theory.
That's better.
And Sheldon always makes a big deal out of how red vines are better than Twizzlers. And you know what I've discovered? Boy, is he right. Oh my gosh, they are so much better. Like I could eat red vines where Twizzlers feel like eating a candle.
Okay, I do not have experience with both. I have experience only with Twizzlers.
Okay, well, imagine if Twizzlers did not have a waxy texture and actually had flavor.
Okay then. Okay.
Anyway, I am about 7 minutes delinquent in feeding the kittens. So either I
Oh
gotta go,
no.
or, well, actually, I'm also quite hungry my own darn self. So
Oh, yeah, it would be a good thing to obtain some nourishment, wouldn't it?
it would. And you may have noticed that while we were chatting, I was noshing on some frozen blackberries, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, I'll tell you, they're a great adjunct to a meal, but it's difficult to make a meal in itself.
Well, I like to use them as a snack. I mean, it's better than like I always need like a one at a time food, and it's better than say Doritos.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I do grapes that way. I dearly, dearly
Ah,
love grapes.
I love grapes, but the problem is that you can't get good quality ones at Ralph's.
Oh, darn it.
Yeah, and I could go to Whole Foods, but I don't want to give my money to Bezos. And I
Right.
suppose I could try Trader Joe's, but they're like super fucking busy, and with the social distancing they're only allowing a certain number of people in the store at a time, so you could be standing in line for 10-20 minutes just to get into the store.
Oh, okay, okay. I lost convenient access to Trader Joe's. I used to live maybe a mile away. I would walk down there occasionally and get stuff. And a friend of mine worked there. So, hi, Abby, how you doing? Uh, but with this most recent move, and I'm 6 miles away from Trader Joe's anymore. And 6 miles is a little more than I'm willing to walk at one stretch. One of those
Hmm.
deals. Because it would be 6 miles there, 6 miles back. Eh, what are you
Well,
gonna do?
I don't know. I just like, I don't know. It's still hard to necessarily picture your situation because I'm like, well, take a Lyft or an Uber then. But I guess you've got reasons why you can't.
Well, okay. I mean, right now, my my finances are a little tight, and I really don't want to spend money on transportation any more than I have to. Um, Give me a little while, maybe a few weeks, something like that. I might get the finances loosened up a little bit, and I might be able to get around on Uber more. Because what I want to do very soon, not in July, probably in August, is walk up to the local Walmart, get a shitload of cat litter, and then hire an Uber to take me back home.
Maybe
Um,
it's just me, but I'm thinking that when you buy cat litter, you don't want a shitload.
yeah, you got a point there. I mean, Kitty will take care of that all by herself. Doesn't take all that
Yeah.
long. Oh my! But yeah,
I
it's
like to default to double wide buttload if that comes up, you know?
okay. Because what I'd like to do is get 70 pounds of cat litter at a time, to where I don't.
Man.
Yeah, well, that's only two of those 35-pound
Well,
tubs.
but could you possibly eat all of that before it goes bad?
It's work, but it can be done. Yes. Well, the interesting thing is, I want to thank Purple in absentia for getting me started on the IAMS cat food, where
Yeah.
the throughput is so much better than it was on what I had been. Well, I've been using the cheap ass cat food. I mean,
Rewind for a sec. What exactly do you mean by throughput in this context?
okay, this is the function of
Uh,
what Kitty eats.
Briefly.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
so the
comparison of what
laxative
Kitty
effect.
eats
The
and how much.
digestive laxative effect then. Okay, got it.
Yeah, she's not shitting out as much as she used to.
Okay.
Yeah, and which is great. I mean, the cat food goes a long way. It goes a longer way than it did before because I guess she's getting more nourishment out of it, and then there's less, left behind. Um, so that's working out really nicely, and she's not complaining really. And the other thing I'm going to have to do is just get more cans of the Friskies and open that up, and she can have some of that. Um,
Well, I don't know. I've been occasionally giving my cats kibble, but most of their food is the canned stuff, the wet stuff. Because, as I understand it, cats need the wet stuff. They like the kibble, but they need the wet stuff.
okay, because I have been had by kitties who have eaten nothing but kibble for 15 years or for 19 years. So
Well,
I
I
don't
just know what
know.
I was told.
Yeah, I don't know if the quality of life would have been that much better had they had. I mean, well, the two I'm thinking of right now occasionally did have tuna because they liked it. This one over here is rather indifferent to tuna. It surprises me. Um, but um, yeah, I don't know if that was a one-off. You know, if Miranda and Ariel were kind of weird. I guess they had to be kind of weird to be around me, but I don't know. But it might be worth it just to get some of the cans of whatever and see what she'll do with them. Um, I suppose it couldn't hurt that much.
Anyway, like I said, I do have to feed the kids, so I will, you know, take off. Although I'm tempted to start a live stream of my own just so I can finally do that unboxing I've been putting off. I mean, I just made 2 videos that are like actual usual content videos. So I think if I do a live stream to unbox stuff, it will be okay. Like I won't feel like I'm cheating my viewers.
Okay.
Well, no, I mean, don't laugh. I'm actually conscious of that. Like,
Oh yeah,
if
yeah.
I do too many unboxing videos in a row, people might start thinking that's all my channel is and unsub. So,
Yeah, like I mean, nobody would ever think that these conversational live streams are all I do. I know that.
no, but seriously, I mean, so I've been putting off doing the unboxing, but I've got a bunch of stuff that's just been sitting there for like a week and a half, and
Oh
it's about time I
no!
got to it.
It had better not be perishable. That's all I can say.
There's one thing in there that I know sort of kind of is, but it can survive outside a fridge for a very long time.
Oh, okay. That's very good. I did tell you about the time that the Salami Bastard sent me a care package, didn't I? And it had sausage in it, and they sent it by post. And by the time I opened up that care package, when I received, oh my God, was it fragrant? They
Anyway, like I said, gotta take off. Gotta feed me and the kitties. So have fun. Laters.
love
Bye
having you
bye.
here every time, honey. And see you Sunday, if not sooner, eh? Yay! And okay, we now have, oh gods, we have 2 of me. Get that out of here. God, you don't want 2 of my ugly mug. There we are. There we are. We're doing a little better. Yes, Stool. That's beautiful. You should do a live stream where she eats bacon candy canes. Oh my word! And it's great having you here, Jen. I tell you what, you feel like dropping in, or you've got stuff to do. I'm willing to go a little longer, because we've only been at this for about 2.25 hours here, so that's a short live stream for me anymore. But what can I tell you? Because I don't get to talk to you enough. I really don't. You got to start doing something one of these days. I'm always talking about doing something, and somehow I never get around to it anyway. And what can I tell you? Let's see, what do we have here? Hang on. Oh, you're having movie night. Okay, well, that's okay then. I hope you enjoy the movie night. Really, I do. Um, Jen is such a sweetie. She really, really is. And I have to say, I love being on Jeopardy with you. Um, trying to, who was it? Who was it that did the Atheist Jeopardy? I forget. That was a fun show. That really was. For the life of me, I cannot remember who did it. Oh my. Bing bong bong. Oh my. I wonder. That's something. I wonder if I would get a copyright strike for that. Atheist News. Okay, that's who did it. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be on anybody's shit list or not. Um, I was very recently followed by. Let me see if I get the. See if I get the name right here. Oh my! Is it Atheist Rush? Oh, um, it's not that one. I have to see who the heck it was. Is it Raytheist? Atheist Rationale? Yeah, I'd been following this account for a long time, and they actually followed me a little while ago. But that's another story entirely. Oh my word, my word, my word. Yeah, it's also kind of fun and everything else. And yeah, a little bit of news here. Um, the decor around here may be changing by the time the yeah, I'm trying to remember who the hell it is that followed me. It was recently. But I'm all old and my mind is shot. I'm just gonna go looking at. Oh, wait a minute. I know how I can figure this out. Okay, if I go to followers, memory serves, the most recent followers are closest to the top. Atheist Forum. That's who followed me recently. Yeah, that was, I don't know, maybe about a week ago. So, there we go on that one. I had totally forgotten that the followers were sorted that way by default. So that's that. But yeah, decor around here may be changing. I certainly hope so. Because I hope by the end of this week I should be taking receipt of a shipment of aquarium plants. And with any degree of luck, I might be able to get started with that box of water back there. We're going to see how it goes. I haven't seen the email notifying me that the. No, I have not, Jen. Sounds like something I might have to do. Yeah. Yeah, I know that SJ had written a book, and it's like, oh Lord. So I'm gonna have to. Yeah, fitties. It's gonna take a while, hon, to get the aquarium up and running at its full capacity. Um, what's gonna happen here is when I get the plants in, the first 2 or 3 days, I am going to be treating them prophylactically for invertebrates, for especially snail eggs. Yeah, no matter how good the source is, no matter how much they tell you that there are no snail eggs, etc., there's always that possibility that 2 or 3 snail eggs sneak in on the plants, and that's enough for several hundred by a couple of weeks later. You're ichthyophobic. Oh no. Oh no. Icky. Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're just, can you not stand to see them in the box of water, or is it one of these things where you do not like handling them? Curious about that one. It's going to be a while before the fish show up, but yeah, I'm going to start out by treating the plants for snails. Then I will set up the plants and the decor. Give that some time to begin to get established. It's going to take months for the plants to really grow into their full capacity, but give them some time, hopefully to set root, to where they won't be disturbed by stuff swimming around in there and everything else like that. And then I think I'd like to keep tetras and angelfish. Oh my, that's okay. Yeah, because that's what we're going to have back there. We're just going to have the fitties swimming around. Oh my word. Yeah, I've done some open water swimming. There was an old quarry. It was a limestone quarry at one time, and it had filled with water. It's in the middle of an island. And freshwater, hun. I cannot afford to maintain a marine aquarium. I'd love to. Oh my word, I would love to have a reef aquarium. Oh, but God, that's thousands just to set up. I mean, you could pay hundreds for a single marine fish, and that's I don't have that kind of money. I mean, okay, what I have to do, I have to get something on the order of, I don't know, $10,000 a month in Patreon. And in order to do that, I've got to be worth $10,000 a month in Patreon. So I've got a little work to get there. And then I can afford a decent place to live, and I can afford to set up an aquarium, and the little one will go nuts. The little one loves fishing. I don't know how she's going to manage this one. I had the aquarium bracketed by bookcases, the last place I lived, and she'd sit on one of the shelves and just watch the fish. And then she would get up on the aquarium cover and try to do the whole, let's grab the damn fish as they're swimming by. So, I had to let the water level go down so she couldn't reach. So I'm going to work on keeping her the hell away from this any way I can. Holy hell. Yeah. Oh my God. That's what I'd love. I would love a 100-gallon tank. One of the customers, the male slummy bastard had, I probably mentioned this, he had a beverage store. And he used to do deliveries. So one of his delivery customers had a 100-gallon freshwater tank. And that is what got me really interested in fish and aquarium and that sort of thing. He had the whole thing set up with a cave environment, and it was heavily planted, but not quite as heavily planted as what I'm after. But it looked a lot like a working ecosystem. I was like, I love this. I want to do this. And unfortunately, I was not able to have an aquarium for another 20 years, another 22 years. Because it was, oh God, I'd love an aquarium. No! Or anything I wanted to do, it was, no! thegrapevine.com. Oh my. Yeah. I know of that sort of thing happening with the kitty grabbing a fitty and eating the fitty. And I want to avoid that. A single neon tetra is going to run me $2. And I want probably about 30 of them in that tank, along with possibly 4 angels. So that means I'm going to have the tetras large enough that the angels will not eat them. Ooh, fitty tanks all over the restaurant. Yay, 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 yay. Yeah, the only time I've been in a restaurant that had anything approaching a fish tank was the one where you went to the fish tank and you picked out the lobster you were going to have for dinner. That was actually at a Brown Derby in Cleveland, years and years and years ago. That was kind of fun though. Yeah, I know, and I knew then that you dropped the lobster into boiling water while the lobster was still alive. I mean, that was the only way that you could be sure that nothing untoward was going to happen. Because the lobster goes bad very quickly out of water. And what I'd really love though, Jen, is if I could have enough money to own and operate a house like this. Oh no. Great. Lobster in hand. Oh man, I'd love to have a house where I could build aquaria into the walls. And then you would have a hatch above, where you could get in there and feed the fitties and all that other happy stuff. But just to be able to have a partial wall in a room with the aquarium built into it. There was so much I wanted to do years ago, and I was never able to do any of it. Okay, lobsters off the boat are about $10. It's been so long since I've had a lobster. Is that good or bad? It has been a very, very, very long time since I've had lobster, and I miss it, but I just don't have money anymore. That's what happens when you end up going on disability. Oh, great. So a $10 lobster, not bad. Okay. And of course the fresh. Well, of course they have to be. Yeah, as you say, you drop them into the water while they're still alive. Wow. Okay then. Yeah, no wonder I haven't had lobster in a while. It's all I can do to afford shrimp every now and then. I think only once in the couple of years that I've lived here, I've had shrimp. Do a shrimp stir fry with the fried rice and that sort of thing. And it's that stuff you get at Walmart, frozen in a damn bag. And I think it's at least $5 a pound or something like that. But I know I've spent all kinds of money while I've lived here. I mean, twice I had a steak while I lived here. And that's very, very unusual for me. I might have had a steak every couple of years or something. They're so fucking expensive. And when Jeff died, I had a steak, in an effort to feel a little bit better, and it helped for about 3 minutes. And then I grilled a steak a little while back, just a few weeks ago. And I kind of hated spending that much just on a steak. It didn't hurt quite as much as it would have had I paid cash, but I had that food stamp windfall, which Mom NATO tells me there may or may not be another one coming soon. I don't know. But yeah, it wasn't. It hurt a little bit less to pay $13 for a steak when I had received a couple $100 worth of food stamps that month, unlike the usual $15, 1.5. And yeah, that steak lasted me 2 meals. So it wasn't all that bad, really. It was about 1.5 pounds of steak. But yeah, it's one of those things that I don't do all that often. The steak I had prior to the one I bought a few weeks ago. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. Even prior to the steak I had bought when Jeff died, had been a Good Friday steak. My ex and I used to go to the local steakhouse on Good Friday. Pittsburgh is a Catholic theocracy, so the steakhouses and other things like that were empty on Good Friday. You got quick service and everything else, and the serving staff loved us, as we tipped generously, and they had somebody to serve and get tipped. Oy, yoy, 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 feed 5 on steak. Ow, 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 ow. What is that, $100 home-cooked meal right there? Yeah. Yeah, one of our claims to fame is Donald Worrell, who was intimately involved, shall we say, in the Pittsburgh pedophilia scandal. I haven't heard very much about that sort of thing recently, but yeah, we here in Pittsburgh had our names in the news for a while there, because that whole scandal was particularly bad here. Um, I don't know how many of you remember the news about David Koresh out in Waco, Texas. He had that thing going where he was grooming girls for the having, if you will. And when a girl was sufficiently trained up, he would give her a Star of David to wear, and then that was what signified that she was ready to get screwed by Koresh. Here in Pittsburgh, that mark, that identity, whatever it is, was a golden cross. Those who were particularly desirable would receive the golden cross. The little boys that would be sodomized, etc., etc. So it reminded me a whole lot of the wackos in Waco. Amiga nuts, you've got to be kidding me. Because even before that stuff broke, there were things breaking, and there were a few people who were complaining, a few of them Catholics, who were complaining about this, and none of it made a difference. It all fell on deaf ears. Yeah, I was just reading another article a few days ago. Somebody had posted it to the twatters. I forget why it was that went there, but let me look up if I can find one of the news articles. Pittsburgh Catholic pedophilia. See if we can find something there. Dum, 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 dum. Okay, here's one from. Yeah, let's see if we can get into this one here. Yeah, you'd have to. Okay, it's within the first couple of paragraphs, so you don't have to read too far into this article. This is from, let's see, penlive.com. What, honey? What would you? No, you're not getting any golden cross. No, you're not going to be pinned with a golden cross. There we have an article. Now, this is from 2018, so it was known then, but it was just reposted not too long ago. No, I do not have Netflix. Yeah, I really don't have any commercial television or anything that resembles commercial television. A long time ago, I discovered that I wasn't watching it enough to justify the cost, and I quit that stuff. It was maybe about 10, 11 years ago, something like that. And I mean, even now, I've come to the conclusion where I'm about ready to drop the MLB TV, the Major League Baseball television, because of the way they handled business in connection with the coronavirus. I mean, they did finally. I mean, this whole virus thing broke in March. I mean, just before opening day. Just this morning, I received mail from them that, okay, because they were going to be cutting or they thought at the time that they were going to be cutting the baseball season to 60 games, they might actually have to cut it out entirely, but that's another story. Because they were cutting the the season, they were going to adjust the subscription price and either let you carry the difference over to next year or get the difference refunded. And I'm thinking of asking for the refund and simply canceling for next year because I've soured on baseball. And something you have to remember is if I have soured on baseball, it's got to be bad because I am, or have been, let's put it that way, an epic baseball fan. Love the game. But just the way things have been handled recently. And I'm discovering that I'm getting by fairly well with no baseball at all. I mean, I miss baseball. I really do. I mean, I love going to the games. And I love day games. I prefer day games to night games. You sit in the upper deck in the warm sun, and you try like hell to remember the sunblock so you don't get second-degree burns at your knees. And you just enjoy the entire ambiance. It's nothing in the world like a summer afternoon watching baseball. I don't know which is better. It's really close. Flying through the Grand Canyon or watching a day baseball game. I'm not sure which is better. But they cut my heart out. And it's like, okay, maybe I really don't need this as much as I thought I did. It would save me about $300 a year because the baseball television is $120. And if I go to 3 games a year, that's maybe about $150. So it's getting close to 300 there. I mean, you're talking 270. And if I get the extra ice cream or if I go to an extra game, yeah, you're way up there. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to go, and I don't know that I'll ever get there anymore. I wanted to see a game at Fenway. With the whole virus thing, and I don't know how long the social distancing and everything else is going to go on. I'm not convinced that it's going to be over at the end of this year. So, I don't know if I'm ever going to get to Fenway. I don't. As I say, I'd love to. I wish I could, because that would be. I would have watched games, being there to see games at 3 of the oldest parks in baseball. Because I've seen a game at the old Yankee Stadium. There's nothing quite like it. Nothing in the world. I was at Fenway for what I regard as the most exciting ball game I had ever seen. And well, number one, just being at Fenway. I'm sorry, number one, being at Wrigley, and then Cubs were behind 9-0 in the second inning, and then John Lester, who started, finally got replaced. Round about the 6th inning, they came back to tie. And that included the inning with 4 home runs, 3 of them consecutive. Just to be in that crowd that was going absolutely nuts was an experience that I don't think I'll ever repeat my entire life. It was that good. And as I said, just to be at Fenway, second oldest park in baseball, a lot of history there. or do I keep saying Fenway? I mean, Wrigley. I'd like to get to Fenway, which is still the oldest park in baseball. Get to it before it falls down. Because it's over 100 years old, I think. Trying to remember when it was built. 1914? Maybe Jen, you can help me. I have not been to Boston since '77. So it's been a little while. I'd love to get back there. And I'd love to have 1912. Okay. Yeah, so this would be 108 years. Yeah, it's, oh my God, make me feel old. Damn you, Jen. I was at uni the first time in '77, for Christ's sake. So, okay, we've got 20 years between us then. I was born in '57. But yeah, I'd love to have enough time in Boston where I could just spend most of a day sitting at the harbor and just, watching, looking. I made a bit of a mistake when I viewed the total solar eclipse. I stopped in Boston, not Boston, what the fuck am I talking about? I stopped in Chicago on the way out. I spent 3 days there. I should have allowed more time. I should have allowed more time to be in Chicago because it had been 30 years since I'd been there. And one of the things I discovered was how much I missed Chicago. Because, okay, the last time I was in Chicago was 2017. The time before that was 1987. Oy vey. That's, yeah, a little bit of an age gap going there between siblings. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. Yeah, it was only 4 years between my sister and me. She was 4 years younger. Yeah, she died 13 years ago, so I can't use the present tense when I talk about her. But, such is the life. It's the way it goes. I did not remember that. Is my fortudetto looking to making, and then is for to the song, what is the Niagara Falls to be calling to making, is to for the listening to making. Yes. And if you made any sense out of that, you're at least as bad off as I am. What can I tell you? Well, I remember when the band Chicago was called Chicago Transit Authority. There was a little bit of a kerfuffle about that one. Because the CTA filed suit against the band for copyright infringement. I didn't know that you could infringe upon a copyright with a name like that, but oh well, what are you going to do? And so their first album is called Chicago Transit Authority at a time when they were the Chicago Transit Authority. And oh my God, I'm in love with the Chicago Transit Authority. I wish we had service like that out here in Pittsburgh. But Pittsburgh isn't quite as large as Chicago is. Yeah, I discovered how much I missed it, how much. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Didn't you say something at one time, Jen, about a T-shirt with the name of that lake? Oh, my word. You know, what can I tell you? Oh, my. Yeah, I'd like to get around a little bit more. And as Kate said, you know, as far as traveling goes, well, number one, I am a little short on cash always. Yeah, there you go. I thought you had said something to that effect. Um, I'd like to, I'd like to rearrange some of my finances and stuff like that, and see if I couldn't. I want to pay off one of my consumer debts this year, and you know, work on some of the other stuff, and you know, try to cut stuff down. It's really weird when you're poor. You tend to live off consumer debt, which is not a good thing. But I guess the consumer credit companies love that because you know you're paying interest all over hell. Um, but yeah, if I can pay down a little bit, maybe that would you know open me up to save a little bit each month and have enough to get back out to Chicago and maybe you know spend a week out there, and then possibly get out to Boston one day. You know whether I go to Fenway or not. You know, we'll see what happens. Um, the one nice thing is you know the ability to get out of town. I mean, Pittsburgh's okay, but it is nice to get out of here from time to time, especially the neighborhoods I've been living in. Jesus Christ. So you found out you haven't worked enough. Okay, and Alan makes too much for you to get the disability. Well, yeah, there's the problem. Um, as far as, you know, getting disability, that sort of thing, or even Social Security retirement. Um, I know more than one situation where having a spouse puts you at an extreme disadvantage. I know of someone who lost half the disability receipts upon getting married, and that caused all manner of financial difficulties. And that is a reason, you know, one of the reasons, not the only one, but one of the reasons I shall never be married again. I can't afford it. So, and then of course one of the other reasons is nobody will have me. But oh boy, moi. Anyway, you know, what can I tell you? But that's the way they like to do this. Yeah, it's well, just recently I saw the senator's name is I think Cornyn, who had said something to the effect of, you know, we can't have a UBI because there'll be, you know, people getting the UBI, and because they're getting that, they won't want to work. That's the whole deserving poor thing that the right side of the aisle is so famous for. É, tá para o Kabashinta. Yeah, that's why I dream of 10,000 a month on Patreon, but it would have to, number one, it'd have to be good enough to earn it, and number two, it would have to be instant. Couldn't work up to it. Because if you had time to work up to it, there would definitely be a time when you lost more than you gained. And I mean, when you are on these programs, such as Social Security disability or even Social Security retirement, you get just enough so you don't die as long as you remain perfectly healthy and as long as you don't eat much and shit like that. But if anything happens, you're screwed. Totally screwed. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, amiga. Yeah, el toro pupu. But that's what you hear from these people. You hear that, yeah, they won't want to work, so they shouldn't get anything. And one of the things that scares me, should a UBI be implemented, the thing that scares me is that it would be implemented in such a way that it would not be enough to close the gap and have a barest minimum to where you're not using debt to live for the rest of your life. But you get that, and then you have the other stuff taken from you, and you still don't have enough to live. Ba teperosta, yes. And there you lose more than you gain. Yeah. And especially in the current climate, you're not going to see that change. I mean, if anything, it's going to get worse. Because the polarization has been worsening for a good long time now. I can trace it back at least 40 years. So, yeah, what is to doing on for today? One of the reasons that I really don't mind that I have more life behind me than ahead of me. Oh well. Okay then. That was a little while ago, I take it, Jen? Jen says there was a time when Ellen and I were both in college full-time. Each had 2 part-time jobs and 2 babies. And we lived off $15,000 a year. Well, I remember a time when I was actually able to work for a living, which was a little while ago, okay? I wasn't getting quite as much, okay, late 90s. I wasn't getting quite as much as I get now. My receipts are a little over $1,100 a month. I remember working for $1,000 a month and being a lot better off than I am now. Well, when I started working at that place, I was getting what? $800 a month. Now this was, I started working for them in '78. So it was a little while ago. God, when I think about it, 78 was so long ago. And it was yesterday all at the same time. In 78, I was 21. And in a little less than 2 weeks, I'm going to hit 63. So, never thought I'd make it this far. Really, I never thought I would. I never did take that good care of myself. I'm not going to make it to 100. I mean, I know I'm not going to make it to 100. I'm very likely not going to make it to 90. 80, I don't know. And sometimes I wonder if I want to. When the shit keeps going the way it's been going, I wouldn't want to last that long. But it's one of those things where you have to overcome the survival instinct. What is for to doing and to into is my not knowing. Eh? What is to do? What is to do? What is to do? God, 6 people watching. How am I that interesting? I don't know. I worry about you folks. I really do. Oh, my word. Let's see now. 7th of July, 13 days. So if you feel like it, keep a slot open in your schedules, because I'm almost certainly. Okay, Alan started the film. So please enjoy, Jen. Oh man, it was great talking with you, even if it was via side chat. And be good and have fun. And before you go, hopefully you'll hear, I'm considering live streaming on my birthday, 20th. So let's see now. 20th is on a Monday. So it will come between Coffee with Lavender and the open chat. Okay. Take care, honey. I have to see if I can pull you on here. Ach du Liebe. Yeah, and I'm telling. Okay, let's see. What do we have? 2205. Yeah, so I've been streaming for about 3 hours, and I am amazing myself at how long I've gone. But well, I haven't really been going by myself because been getting help from the side chat. Thank you, Jen. To keep some topics going. And I think that what we're going to end up doing, so I can actually get a little bit of sleep, and then see how things go. As I say, I'm waiting for notification that my aquarium plans have shipped, and then once they've shipped, once they arrive, I'm going to be kind of busy, and I'll keep you guys informed and all that, and maybe do a time lapse while I'm setting up the box of water. But yeah, maybe it's time to kind of depart. Don't want to overstay my welcome. And I will say, I want to thank everyone who's here, and I want to thank everyone who's not here. And hopefully some of you who are not here will be rewatching, watching after the live broadcast is ended, but they're still there in my back catalog. So, kind of hoping you have a look at it. I'm kind of hoping you like what you see, and we'll see what we can do into the future on that. And I'll tell you, as long as you guys keep liking it, I'll keep doing it. It's a joy. It is a joy to do this, and I don't know, in its own way, it feels kind of nice to be appreciated. No accounting for taste, okay, guys? But what can I tell you? Okay then. So what I will say is thanks a lot, troops. See you on the other side.